You're now listening to episode 60 of Signed In, an Xbox 360 podcast, recorded on January 8th, 2011. Find us online at signedinpodcast.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to Signed In. I am Jeremy Superfro33.
I'm Craig Croft-Dresser.
And I am Sean Shonix.
And we had an extended break.
Yes.
We did.
An unplanned extended break.
It worked out, though.
So would that be a happy accident then?
I wasn't happy at all.
Well, there's some serendipity involved in it. I mean, two of us were
Sean
sick.
and I were both sick.
Yeah.
I'm still, well, we're both still
Well, then it's a
little
happy
sick.
accident for me because I didn't get sick from you guys.
That's why we didn't do the show.
Yep.
I was like, oh, the listeners. And Craig's like, I don't want to get sick. And we were like, Craig, the listeners.
And I
you're
said,
like,
fuck them.
Screw them.
We got down there. Down here, there's guys in hazmat. It was like like ET. There was like that one of those like tubes that went from his front door to another door, and we stood at that door and had to get rung in. And
So we
And
had
then
a,
I just sent you home.
yeah, it was
so it was
bad.
an unplanned extra week, but here we
Without
are.
pay.
We're back. Nobody gets paid.
That's why I was without pay.
And, we were only off a week, but with it being over the holidays and me being like off work
Yeah.
for like longer periods of time, it
Yeah.
felt like we were off for about 2 months.
It did feel like a
I
long
played so
time.
many games.
Yep.
Yeah, you had a lot of old games. So I don't know. We'll get into
Yeah.
it. But there's a lot to talk about this episode.
Whole lot.
On top of the games that we played in the last 3 weeks now, we'll also be talking about what we're looking forward to in 2011,
Yeah.
and even doing an impromptu report card on our status from 2010. I revisited some of those. We did much better this year than we have in the past couple of years.
Oh,
So, yeah. We aimed a little better. So. But before we get into all that, I do want to mention one thing real quick, too, which is we mentioned at the last episode 3 weeks ago that we were going to be doing some contests over the holidays. None of those happened because I am a huge failure and don't respect the audience. Or because I got sick and was completely
That's
displaced.
okay. A lot of
and
people
out
take the holidays off from the internet.
That was also the problem. I noticed that there was quite a downturn on the amount of people around, and I wanted to give everybody the best opportunity possible. So we're looking at doing that stuff in the next week or two.
Sweet.
So check out signedinpodcast.com for the information on that. We've said before we have a couple different game shirts to give away. We've got XBLA codes for games, for indie games and
Yes.
XBLA.
Nice.
Sean, we're giving out the Castlevania.
We're giving out Sean.
Castlevania
Don't
Lords.
give away Sean.
We have a sealed copy of Castlevania
Yeah.
Lords of Shadows, and Sean promised to write on the cover.
Yes, I
of
will.
some sort.
I will.
Draw a picture for them.
Because that was my game of the year, my surprise game of the year.
It was.
That's right.
It's awesome.
And it was awesome. I had that to talk about, but so we'll see what Sean can come up with on that. Maybe we'll have it in time to give an image and give everybody an
Yeah.
idea of what they're going to win.
Speaking of surprise games of the
Yeah.
year, I saw someone playing Fairy over our break.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like, sweet. I hope that was me.
Did you send a message?
No, I didn't.
Say you're welcome, and then they can get the message and be like, "What a dick."
That's all you, man.
Remove friend. And a real big thanks to everybody in the indie community who supported our indie special show that we
Yeah.
did
Oh,
for
yeah.
Indie
Yeah.
Winter Games Uprising, or Uprising. Yeah, that's
Winter
it, right?
Uprising.
Winter Uprising. Indie Games. Winter Uprising. It's like
Yes.
a ton of different words. So thanks to everybody for the well-received attention to that, and we appreciate everybody spreading the word,
Yep.
and we were very happy to do that show.
Yeah.
And a big thanks to Zona Games
Oh, yes.
for putting our little reviews up on YouTube with some game footage of their games for Score, Rush, and is that it?
And Decimation.
And Decimation
Three.
X
Yep.
3. That was awesome and unexpected and really funny to see.
Been here.
And here it was a little odd, but we
was,
appreciate it.
I'm like,
cool.
God, I just keep talking. What is my problem?
Now you know how we feel. And the show's over. All right. So with all that out of the way, let's talk about what we're going to talk about this episode.
A bunch of stuff.
A bunch of games.
A bunch of stuff.
I have a lot of XBLA.
I've got a lot of XBLA and a lot of indie. I'm not even going to rattle them off. I got so many. But
got-
we do have a couple finishing out Winter Uprising.
Yes.
As
Yeah.
well.
We got that. I got some Indian as well.
Yes.
Even on top of the.
I thought you said Indian.
Indie. I got some Indian.
me.
Well, a
Like
little
what?
bit.
3/16.
Like an eighth.
It's about an eighth.
Stop celebrating that eighth.
What can I say?
You're not owed anything.
One tough. But I got some DLC in there.
Yeah.
Some disc games, and my girlfriend brought Kinect home.
Oh, you're not putting that on her.
So I am putting that on her.
Sean's new. So you're cornering that market now too. You had the Avatar corner, and now you got the Kinect corner.
The Kinect corner.
You're trying to like get all these niches in this show for yourself.
Well,
you're carving them in.
They all
buying
work.
Dance Central and knocking on Sean's door unexpectedly.
Well, you can come over and play it. I'll watch you play it.
Whatever.
Yikes.
So full of shit.
He's gonna
I'm
watch me
not
play
actually.
You're totally playing that game.
I've never
he does
played
want
that
to see you
game.
play it.
I've never played that game. But I'll talk about why I haven't. 'Cause
Okay,
I've got
cool.
a problem.
I look forward to hearing
I've
about
got
it.
a problem with it. It wasn't.
Is
what I
this
expected
medically
it to be.
related?
No.
I will say this: I'm glad that our show can represent at least a point of view for Kinect now,
Yeah.
because we weren't able to before. And
Yes.
everybody seems to be buying it.
Yeah.
Everybody.
It's
Yeah. There's a lot of Kinects popping up on my friends list.
games keep showing up at my house.
There you go.
Jeez, but it's nice to have her into the Xbox. So
I have a couple or indie games, but I've got a bunch of XBLA, including all the winter promotion stuff that they
Yeah.
did, Keflings and
winter games.
Raskulls and
The holiday games, winter holiday. I
yeah,
don't remember what the
I can't
promotion was
remember all
called.
the euphemisms for everything anymore.
Wow.
Is that what it's called?
No.
that's wrong.
That is not it at all.
And I also caught up on some old disc games, some NBA 2K11, and finished out some Castlevania. So I look forward to talking about all those.
Excellent.
And 2011.
Yes.
Or look at that. So get ready for about a 5-hour show.
I've only
Dear
got 3
God,
games
no.
I'm looking forward to in 2011.
Wow. Well, you can't go wrong if you have just a couple. All right, so let's kick it off then
He's
with
trying to
some
increase his percentage of hits this time around.
some indie games. Your batting average.
He's
is gonna
concerned.
go
He's
up.
concerned about the report card in
You might have done the
2012.
best.
See, but that's the thing that you guys always find the games that are interesting, where I'm always the ones that have 2s or 3s behind it.
See,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna mostly gloss over it. Anyway, we're getting
No, you
ahead.
won't.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get to the indies because I've got a lot to talk about.
You
here.
do.
Let's wrap
Take
up.
the charge.
Let's start by wrapping up on Winter Uprising a little
Okay.
bit.
Yeah.
With Aphelion 2,
Yes.
which is a sci-fi infused turn-based RPG, and is obviously the sequel to Aphelion 1, but without the 1. It's just the original Aphelion. There we go. That's what I want to say. And so it's a classic turn-based RPG, kind of in the style of, say, like Final Fantasy, the earlier Final Fantasies, and things like Phantasy Star and those kinds of games. And it's got a great art style and a very high level of production for an indie game, in terms of creating character models and animations and sounds and music and stages for you to run through. And as an RPG, it's pretty well developed. It's got a variety of skill choices. So whenever you skill up every 3 levels, man, I can't remember the specifics of it. There's one note I didn't write down. Anyway, you get skill points, and you have a variety of bars that you can build up. If you've played Mass Effect and you've built skills based on the Mass Effect tree, it's a very similar sort of structure there. And so you can get different combinations there. There's like weapon and armor crafting. Apparently, I didn't get to do any of that in the demo, but
Okay.
it's got an in-battle turn indicator, which is very nice for turn-based RPGs like this. So you can tell, are the monsters going to attack before me or after me? And so then you can do better jobs of choosing things like healing abilities or healing potions or whatever. And it's got a lot of other neat features. This one seems to continue the story directly from the first Aphelion, so I really want to go back and play that one first now, because I really got into the demo that I was playing for Aphelion 2.
I remember you liked the first one quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it was one that it kind of never just hit on me for me. So I kind of never checked it out. And then this one came around and I failed completely to look at it.
Oh man,
I suck. What do you want from me?
I
was sick.
I found I failed.
That's gonna be my excuse the whole show, by the way.
That's a fail
Lord
right
almighty.
there. I found myself. I enjoyed. I like the look. I like the style. But I think when it comes to like turn-based RPGs with me, they got to have that 8-bit, like niche.
Sure.
It has to have that old school feel to me or look, because it's just now it doesn't help me.
Doesn't do it for
I
you.
don't think I don't know. Maybe that's why I never got back into Final Fantasy when that came out.
Right.
Even though it looked awesome when we got to see you play it.
Yeah.
But I think it's that whole turn-based style.
Well,
It's
that's
like, I
less
get-
turn-based, actually. Nowadays, RPGs are more real-time.
Yeah, but this one had that feel, and that's one thing about those kind of games that it kind of throws me off. I need that old school look, or there's got to be that a little bit something extra for me.
That's an interesting observation.
It looked awesome.
Yeah.
It looked awesome. The sound was good. It just didn't grab me.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm definitely
Nothing
intrigued, and
against it.
I'm going to go back to Aphelion. Aphelion. I keep trying to do Aphelion, and play that one first, because it does seem like it's continuing straight out of there. But Very, very
And
good.
it's 240, right?
240, yes, I believe so, which is pretty dang
That's
good.
not bad. That wasn't a bad price for that game.
And they're promising 6+ hours of gameplay,
Nice.
plus another mode or something like that to continue gameplay or do replay or whatever.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. In addition to Aphelion 2, I've got Astroman here.
Well, should we finish out?
You want to
Winter
finish?
Uprising?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's finish up.
As much as I want to save it, Cthulhu Saves the World.
Yes.
Was the other offering that we got. I think
and
that
another RPG.
another RPG and another follow up coming from Breath of Death. Well, I mean the same people. Not
It's
following
not
storyline.
It's not a sequel, but it's coming
from Zombiez Games, 240 points, and I love it.
It's very, very good.
I'm sure everybody at this point is familiar with Breath of Death 7 and what that gameplay was offering. It's pretty similar along those lines. I'm finding it to be a lot more funny.
Yeah.
And I'm just having a blast with it so far.
Yeah. And so this is kind of along the lines of what Sean was talking
Right.
about, where it's more of a classic 16-bit style fantasy turn-based RPG. But yeah, I agree that I think the plot and dialogue is hilarious. I feel like there's more character in Cthulhu Saves the World than in Breath of Death 7.
Definitely.
Like I never really got to be really interested in the characters in Breath of Death 7. They're interesting, but they didn't really do a whole lot. Whereas I feel like there's a plot that's driving forward in this one, and you know,
and they started off right at the beginning with Cthulhu like losing all his powers.
Yeah.
And so he has to become a hero to get all his powers back.
Yeah.
So that he can destroy the world.
Yeah,
which is hilarious.
Which you found out through the narrator.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah. I quit playing. I not that it was bad. I didn't have the money to pay the full amount for it. At this time,
it was $3.
I know, but at this time, well, that means I got to put like
I'm
$10
just being a
into
dick.
my
It's all right,
account.
go.
You know,
Or
anyway, there is 5.
Yeah.
Shit. Never mind then. Sorry, I'll buy it later. But I really enjoyed it. I just kind of quit early on just because I was like, well, I know I'm going to play it. I'll play it till the time runs out each time, but I'm going to buy it and I want to play it through that way. So I really loved it. I liked the dialogue. A lot of times when it's just on the screen and read the dialogue, I get bored, but this kept me going and this kept me, like laughing, and there was some funny moments, and I love the look. The look is fantastic.
And the characters are really funny.
Yeah.
I really like, you get the sword dude later on.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. And the chick that's in love with him. Umi, is that her name?
Yeah, Umi. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I really like Breath of Death 7, the beginning, but this is no hyperbole here when I say that I think that Cthulhu Saves the World is an improvement over Breath of Death 7 in almost every way. Even though it uses a lot of the same things, there's like fine-tuning improvements that happen all over the place. I mean, so you still have the same skill choice where you have to choose between 2 different things every time you level up, which is always nerve-wracking for me.
I know.
Which one do I do? Which one do I do? Sometimes it's easier, but sometimes they're really difficult. I think there's a great synergy going on in this game that I didn't notice in Breath of Death 7 in terms of between characters and their skills and
their abilities.
Yeah, in particular because of insanity.
Yeah.
Which
is new.
Yes.
I mean, it fits in with the Cthulhu stuff.
Yeah, it fits in with the Lovecraft theme going here. And so, you can drive your enemies insane, which makes them take more damage, but can sometimes make them more powerful. And then there are also skills that feed off of insanity, because I goddamn love putting, insane strength on Cthulhu, where he gets like 10% additional strength for every insane enemy out there.
Yeah.
At one point, I got this sword that automatically made everybody insane, so I just walk into battle like plus 50% or whatever. Well, I don't know if it's cumulative that way. I don't know the math for it, but he was really powerful.
Yeah.
So I really like the fact that it felt like there was a stronger synergy there with the combat, and so it was less like, oh, this is my magic guy, this is my brawler guy, and all that. And it feels like they're working as a team a little more.
Yeah, and I mean that makes sense because the sword, which I'm blanking sharp. There you go. I was using, sometimes he has those supportive powers where he boosts everybody else up. So there was many times where I was using him for full on attacks or spells, and I was mixing that up.
Right.
As opposed to a lot of RPGs, I find that I use this person for this thing, this person for this thing.
Yeah.
And even with Umi, sometimes I was having her do her spells, but other times it was just as beneficial for her to attack or to use one of her special abilities.
Yeah, at first I thought she was just going to go down a spell path. Like she was just going to be strong in magic, but they had a lot of opportunities for you to build up her strength, and I think she was supposed to be kind of a balanced character going.
And even Cthulhu, where it's like, he's the brawler and attacking everybody, but there were times where his spells were definitely needed. I think the balance is just amazingly well done across the characters, and you don't fall into a rut of, okay, this is my attacker, this is my magic user, and this is my defender or whatever. So
yeah, and another major improvement to Cthulhu Saves the World over Breath of Death 7 is, well, improvement in my eyes at least, is the ability to save anywhere. and to teleport to cities.
So awesome.
Because I gotta admit, I still have yet to finish Breath of Death 7 because I reached a cave that I just cannot get through without dying, and then I have to kind of start all over and trek back there, blah blah blah. And so being able to save anywhere or teleport to a city, it's very nice. It's very very nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I was super impressed. They make a little joke about it how, in the game about I can't. Oh, what is this? A first-person shooter or something like that? Yeah. Like it's making it easier, and it does make it easier. But it's the one of the primary draws for the game is its enjoyable story and getting through all that.
Yeah.
So,
and I love the streamline. My thing with when recommending the game to people is I do have a concern that there is a required nostalgia there or a past to draw on with these type of 8-bit, 16-bit games,
sure.
Old school RPGs, the original Final Fantasies, Dragon Warrior, things like those. And so I worry about because in particular, just for a reference example, I was talking to my brother over the holiday, and he is 13 years younger than me, at least. And so we were talking about he was just going through Ocarina of Time again, Zelda, and that was like when he was growing up. And so I was talking about the original Zelda, and he said, I played that one time, and they just start you, and you don't even know what you're supposed to do. I'm like, yeah, that's how it was, son. I felt all old.
You had instruction manuals that would have a paragraph of story.
We had to read the instruction book. He's like, yeah, you just go into a cave, and they tell you they don't even tell you where to go. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it was.
You got to find the map.
I'm an old man.
You got to find the map.
But
map.
It's all I could think
Nintendo
about.
Power.
Exactly. And I'm like, I don't know how we figured this shit out. Like, it was all Nintendo Power, and we had to get all this stuff and learn it. Nestor. So that's all I could think about. It was like resonating with me the entire time I was playing Cthulhu, and I'm like, God, I don't know how, it seems like with all the menus and everything, it seems like you would have to have that. I don't know, the current generation. But then again, maybe I'm just naive and everybody is
I would probably
aware
say,
of what came before.
I would probably say that for Breath of Death 7.
Yeah.
But I think there's like we were saying before, I think there's a stronger characterization. I think there's a stronger plot and a drive for the entertainment value of Cthulhu Saves the World that I think even if you don't have that nostalgia, I think you can get into
and
it.
Having,
Not everyone's going to.
And having the history, I really appreciate and I love how streamlined this game is by taking those elements and even things down to a potion. I love that one potion is used for everything in the game.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, items are
and that
virtually non-existent.
It still has that feel and that flair.
Sure.
But you don't have to worry about having 4 different potions depending on what you need to refill. It's everything revives, everything heals, everything cures.
Plus they have the 1-ups now, so that if you die in battle, you can immediately retry the battle, which I've had to use a couple times. So
and I'm like, this is not good. I'm dying.
Yeah. At the beginning, I felt like it was less grueling than Breath of the Dead 7 was at the very beginning, but then towards the end, there were definitely some very challenging battles.
Yeah.
And even when I thought I was taking a smart approach to the battle, I still would sometimes end up dead.
And everywhere that you're at, whichever level you're in or on the overworld itself, there are a limited number of battles that you get into. And they kind of count down. You can see them if you hit your Y button to see the stats or your information menu. It tells you how many battles are remaining. Once you get to 0, you can still go to the menu and choose fight and have a fight. And that was really my only issue with the game is that fight button that fight option being right next to equip. And so I would get an item and I'd go into my menu and I'd go down to equip and I'd actually hit fight. And so I did it 4 times because I'm stupid.
I have to say,
and so
I never had that
immediately launch into a fight and I'm like, crap.
Nice.
I just need to take more time, apparently. But it's I would have liked that fight option to be a little further down the list to somewhere I don't go very often. Right on top of equip didn't work out the best for me. But maybe everybody else is smarter than I am.
Yes.
But I definitely have to say this is probably one of my favorite indie games ever.
Yeah.
I put tons of hours into it.
I've got a couple.
I was cracking up out loud.
I've got a couple in, but I've heard it's long.
Yeah.
Like a 6-hour or so that people
Especially
are saying.
if you forget how to run.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Craig sent a message. He's like, or you said on our message board, you're like, don't forget to run. It's literally the first thing it tells you. And I didn't do it until literally the last section of the game.
I'm like, oh, hey, what's happening there?
That helps a lot.
Yeah, I laughed at myself a lot.
And it's funny because when I played the game, I'm like, okay, don't forget to run because Craig said it. I was because it tells you a bunch of stuff at the beginning.
Yeah, it
so you see it and then kind of forget about it. And it was probably 3 minutes before I'm like, oh yeah, B. I'm like, so I almost forgot, but at least it wasn't 6 hours.
Plus, it doesn't really feel. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway,
it's weird for a game like that to have a run button in it. For me, it is.
It's another one of those streamlined things where they take all the things of the old, but kind of make them better with making it easier. And so maneuvering becomes a little simpler when you can run.
I found that I fought less if I was running than if I was walking.
I found it was happening. You were covering more area, but I thought the battles were still because I looked for that
because I always ran out of battles before I left a dungeon. or
Oh, really?
whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
me too, but that's
every
because I
time.
like went to every corner
Sure,
that I
yeah,
could.
maybe that's the same thing.
Because I tried to kind of time it when I was walking or running,
Yeah.
and they seemed to be coming up with the same occurrence. I was just covering more ground when I was running.
yeah, maybe that's it.
Time in between was about the same. though.
Anyway. Okay.
Awesome game though.
Yes.
Can't wait
I
to
love
buy
it.
Very much so.
I love it.
Yep.
Very much so. Okay, so now we'll talk about Astroman
Sure.
a little bit here.
My last contribution for you guys.
Which is a very slick side-scrolling platformer.
Very.
And it's got a lot of nice features. So basically, you're an astronaut and your ship crashes.
I'm just interrupt you there, but
sure.
it does come from Starquill Games.
Oh, thank you.
And it is 240 points.
Okay,
so
thank
there.
you.
Now we can talk about it. I just
can
want to
be
make
my
sure I got
voiceover
there.
guy.
I want to make sure I got their plug-in. They deserve it.
So you're basically an astronaut guy, and you crash land on this planet, and you have to go around and salvage your parts so your ship can fly away, and you can escape. And there are various monsters or alien creatures roaming around, and you have a blaster. And so you can save games, and there's a checkpoint system, which is very nice.
Yes.
And alleviates a lot of the stress for the platforming. The blaster that you have has limited ammo, but you can always pick up more ammo lying around on the world. But I like the fact that it had limited ammo. That added like a bit of challenge to it, so I wasn't just shooting everything.
When you shot the things, they dropped some stuff. Was that ammo too that they would?
That was health.
Health. Okay.
Yeah, they would drop like a quarter health because you have 4 hearts, and you can build more hearts by finding heart containers.
Okay.
But yeah, they would drop like a quarter heart. And let's see here. There seem to be multiple. Well, I know there are multiple worlds. I finished at least the first world in the demo, and then flew to the second one. I accidentally crashed into the asteroids once.
Way to go.
There's an asteroid belt, and there's like a variety of alien creatures to avoid or zap or whatever you want to do. And yeah, I really liked it. I like the art style a lot. I think it's really slickly put together.
Yes.
The music was really
I love the
top-notch.
music. By the way, that soundtrack's available for free.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll send
that's
you a link.
fantastic. Yeah.
We should throw it in the show notes.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
for everybody.
Because I thought everything about it was really well produced, and
It's like a spacey kind of soundtrack, but
Yeah.
like it's also like fun, and I just really liked it a lot. I thought it was really well done.
yeah, I'm quite thrilled with it.
And it seemed like there's a lot of upgrade. Like you can upgrade your jumps. I think you get upgrades later on in the game.
Yeah, I
that
didn't get
allow
that
you to
yet.
jump higher or further and things like that. It had a really Mega Man feel for me.
A little bit of
like
Mega
the
Man.
action
Had a
adventure,
little Metroid feel too.
Metroid, a little bit of that stuff. But you can't shoot up.
No.
So it had that, but the game seemed like it was designed around that, and not like that was a problem,
Right.
Because it had areas where you had to kind of do the Mega Man jump and shoot, jump and shoot, jump and shoot
Right.
to try and like get the right timing,
Right.
And I loved that, but
Yeah.
it didn't feel like Mega Man as far as I was dying every 10 seconds,
Right,
or
right.
like falling in a pit, or
Yeah.
there are spikes and things like that, but the things aren't killing you instantly. You
Right.
do have a health system,
Yeah.
which helps.
And the jumping seems pretty manageable.
Yeah, it was pretty tight.
because that's usually an important part of
Yeah.
platforming. But I liked it.
The overall just design look was
Yeah.
amazing. Like I love the animation style and the art style. Did you check it out at all, Sean?
I did not.
Okay.
I will though.
Yeah, I was immediately. It was one of those I was drawn in immediately just because of the cover. And people talk about that before the cover of the game on the marketplace. And people have talked about at length before how important it is to have a cover, like
yeah,
a good cover,
definitely.
And it had that old NES style look,
Yeah.
which I love because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a baby, because I'm still 10,
Aren't we all,
and so that sucks me in right away.
Yeah,
I loved it.
That's understandable.
Recommend it.
I got Vertigo.
Vertigo.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Vertigo, yeah. Whoa! It's an 80-point game from Run Jump Dunk Entertainment. That's duck, not dunk.
Oh,
It's
I
wonderful.
will fix that in editing. Though.
Yeah, it's 1 to 4 players, local. It's a side-scrolling. You're just running, and then there's these little icons, like little blue flaming ball things, and then you hit your jump button, and that shoots you even further. And it's a time-based game. It's kind of like Get to the Chopper.
yeah.
Okay.
Kind of in that sense, and it's just side scrolling, running. You jump, and then it gets kind of crazy. There's you bounce off of walls, almost kind of like Explosion Man in that sense, and it has that kind of same feel to it to me. At first I was like, nah, it's kind of boring, but I ended up going through a lot of my time, expiring time on it, and playing through it, and just seeing if I can get a better time. How many, it just became more like I want to hit every one of those little icons, and I don't. It kind of grew on me after a while. I just tried it as a whim, but then it really kind of worked because there's parts in it where you'll have to duck and slide underneath, like air conditioning vents and things like that, and that gives you little icons. And I like the fact that it's a 4-player local game too.
Cool.
So you can play, 1 to 4 players, only 80 points. Totally worth checking out, just for a fun hanging out around the house type of game.
Cool.
I think it really works, and the style is kind of like you're almost like stick figures almost.
Yeah.
I think it's a neat style. You get to choose from like 4 different players. There's 2 girls, 2 guys, but I like it. It was worth checking out. I don't know if I'm going to get it because I don't really play that many 4-player games. But anyone that has Xbox, that family wise, I think it's pretty fun. So
that's pretty awesome.
Worth checking out. Yeah.
I went all the way back to March 2010 and found an old game.
Oh my god!
I know. I just decided to peruse through the 500 indie games in the entire market as I was going through, and I came by Mega Monster Mania. Which I wanted to point out in the show because I think fans of the Winter Uprising game Epic Dungeon should definitely check this one out. Cool. As similarly, it's an overhead twin stick dungeon crawler where your right stick is swinging your sword or shooting your arrows or whatever, and your left stick is moving you around. And it's got it boasts randomly generated levels, so it's always going to be a little bit different, and it technically goes into infinity. And you basically are going around and killing monsters and collecting the stuff that you kill from the monsters and opening treasure chests and trying to reach the exit, which then takes you to the next level. But what's very nice is that at the end of each level, then it gives you the ability to buy and sell your equipment between the levels, so that you can immediately equip your better stuff and get rid of the junk and buy new potions and things like that. You can use items like health potions, but also like garlic, which is this repellent for a little bit to keep the monsters away from you. You can do all that with the left trigger, and you can cycle through with like the left bumper, and then you can cycle through different weapons because you can actually carry more than one sword. It's not like a one slot sort of deal.
Nice.
Or whatever. I'm not exactly sure if there's any real. Well, I guess there were some weapons that had like elemental attributes to them, so you might want to have more than one sword for that, because you're not quite sure if your next level is going to be like an ice level or it's just a regular dungeon or out in the forest or in a fire level, and so you can cycle through those with the right bumper. I'm not sure if I said that yet, but you have a lot of different enemies coming at you in a variety of ways. Some of them are just running straight at you, some are shooting at you, some will have things spinning around. They're all different shapes and sizes. Well, maybe not shapes, because one thing is that it's got a very fun art style where everything's basically a square or a rectangle. But then like the character is designed onto that, so they're like rabbits that was a square with like 2 ears hanging off the back that would come running at you. I think warthogs because they had like 2 spikes coming out of the front of them. There's a giant the image for the game on when you load it up through the game library is the Cyclops, which is this big fleshy looking block with a big eye on it. And he was huge. He's much bigger than all the rest of them. And so I really like that art style. It moves really swiftly. Cool. And so it's got some good music, and it's got 2-player local co-op as well. Nice. It's a very tight game, and like I said, 80 points. And like I said, if you were a fan of Epic Dungeon, you should definitely check out Mega Monster Mania because it's right up the same sort of alley. And again, 80 points, and seemed like a lot of fun.
Cool. I want to check it out.
Sweet.
I like monsters.
From Vertigo to Vorpal.
Are you going alphabetical?
I don't know. Vorpal was I don't know. It's a game I thought I'd check out. 80 points. It was from Abraham Morales. It's got this kind of anime style type art. It's a weird like versus game in a sense.
Yeah, it's
where you're a ship which looks like a tattoo. They all look like tramp stamps.
I'm not the only one who thought that.
Tramp stamps.
They all look like I think it's
choose like tribal between tattoos or something like that.
You choose from like 8 of them.
Yeah.
And they all have a character that goes with it, and then you fight because when you pick the character, you only pick one in the trial version.
Yeah.
You pick that one, and then you fight one of the other ones from that list of characters as well. And there's a line in the middle of the screen. It's kind of a they're at the top, you're at the bottom. But you can't go past that line. They can't go, but you can go up to it. It's not like drawn there. There's a line.
That's not true.
You can go. I can't go any further.
I went around them.
I never got that far up.
Well, you get to one stage where that's basically what you have to do.
I never got past the first stage. That's what I'm having a problem with.
Did the first stage stick me? I don't know.
Well, anyway,
Craig's tramp stamp is superior.
All I know is it's mostly done red, black, and white.
Yeah.
And I love the look. I love the music. It's very hyper, like techno. It's like I feel like it's
but you hate Techno Kitten Adventure.
Because I hate that game. Because that's all a button game. I hate Anyway, I don't know about. I'm on the fence about this one anyway. But there's like a break button which throws out all these bullets. It's like a hyper bullets that go directly at the guy. You don't have to move. It just goes with
I'm pretty sure each ship has a different break thing. So his were homing shots.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great for 80 points. I never got past the first guy. Never.
I never got past the first guy, but he's got 8 stages to him.
Yeah,
or something like
yikes.
that.
Yeah, and I got through like 4 of them.
Here's the thing: it's a really interesting game because it is essentially a shoot 'em up bullet hell game.
Yeah,
but instead of having droves and droves of waves of enemies coming at you, you just face off against one dude who has like massive attacks, and then once you once you have to break down his shields, and once you do that, then he rebuilds his shields and he changes his attack tactics, and then you have to do different things. That's why I know you can go above them, because one was a spiral that I was basically caught in the arms of the spiral, and so I kind of had to wait until I came around again, until I could shoot him again at the bottom.
Maybe I just didn't go up that far because I was getting shot at 24/7.
That could be.
I think for 80 points, it was. I thought it was awesome looking.
I completely overlooked it. It sounds interesting. You guys are making it sound very interesting.
Dig the look, the music, the red, the colors are perfect. I think they really work with it. The screen just fills up with bullets. Because essentially, you almost got a rectangle shape down the middle, and then they use like for the other right and left, they have like characters.
It's got an arcade panel in the middle.
Gotcha.
Basically.
And I had a lot of fun with it. I had a hard time with that first guy, but I really think I just throw away that $1 of mine.
Yeah.
And purchase the game. I love the look. The music was cool. It was all around fun.
Yeah, and I should also mention the brakes can also basically destroy all the bullets that are on the screen. So that, if you're trapped, you can use that.
Yeah,
so.
I got trapped a lot because that guy's got big bullets.
Yes,
they were big round bullets.
That is true. Having nothing to do with bullets, let's talk about Return All Robots. That was a complete fail and segue, by the way. Which is a very fun retro-styled puzzler. So it's got sort of 16-bit graphics style to it. And it's a puzzler, and your goal is to command these robots. And so you can press A, and then that makes all the robots move directly forward for whatever direction they're facing. And they'll face directions based on where you're standing. They're trying to look at you is what they're trying to do. And so you're trying to save these blue robots. There's like an emergency at this laboratory, and you're trying to save these blue robots by walking them into these teleporters and making sure that they don't run into fire or don't run into these red robots, which have gone renegade and are trying to kill you and things like that. But the red robots move at the same time as the blue robots. All robots move forward, and so it's a game of positioning and figuring out proper moves, and trying to do it in the least number of moves if you want to go for that.
It's more like a puzzler.
Yeah. And it's very nice. It's very nice because there are things like you can manipulate multiple robots into moving in several different directions. Because, like, if I'm standing in the middle of the room, then maybe the robot above me is looking down towards me. The robot to the east is looking, to the side and all that. And so when I press that A button, they're going to move in the direction that they're looking, not in all the same direction or whatever. And you can even stand in positions so that robots don't move. So if you're standing on a direct diagonal, basically, to the robot, and you can tell this because they have a question mark above their head, they can't quite see you, then they'll just stay put, which is good for maneuvering things around because you don't want the red robots to crash into the blue robots. And, sometimes you want to run a red robot into the fire so it's dead, but you don't want the blue robot to move forward, things like that.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of finesse into the puzzle itself. And I really liked it. It's got a very fun little story with a lot of humor as well because, you're showing up for your first day on the job and then there's this emergency and, you have to go save these robots. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. I can't quite remember how much it cost.
Okay.
But if you're interested in a puzzler, one of those kind of puzzlers, then definitely check it out because I think it's going to be worth it.
Awesome.
Revolver 360.
Yes.
It's 240 points from Cross Eaglet. It's like this side-scrolling shooter, but the spin is because there is a spin, like a hook. You can use your left and right triggers, and you essentially spin the axis of the screen.
Yeah,
but it's more so not like it's very bizarre. At first it was jarring, but then it was awesome because that's how you can avoid the bullet storms.
Yeah,
it's like so if you get a line of fire at you, you can move so you're either above or below it, but the way you're moving it is more
think of the
forward
screen,
to the back of you.
Think of the screen as like a cylinder going horizontally, and so it rotates on that horizontal axis.
Is this the one with the colors are all crazy?
Well, it's
I don't
pretty,
know if I would say the colors.
It's pretty bright. It's pretty bright.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like square, like
the enemies. The enemies are
like,
all three-dimensional objects,
Yeah.
like cubes or spheres or diamonds, things like that.
Yeah, and the look is fantastic. Once I started kind of getting used to the whole trigger controller, then I really started to enjoy the game a lot because at first I just was, and then I started spinning too much though too, because I had my finger was stuck on it at one time, and I'm like, why did I keep getting hit? And I'm like, oh crap, because I got so into it and the craziness. I really like the look of it. I thought it was a cool like dynamic to the game.
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was neat.
It's not just like a little trope that's thrown on top of it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, it's just a regular shooter that you can do this in. You have to use it because, you know, there will be enemies who shoot like a pure line of bullets at you. Or enemies, like a line of enemies will appear on the back of the screen and you can't shoot backwards. And so you have to rotate the screen in order to basically swing around them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I thought it was a really cool idea. And it seemed to have two main modes. One that is pretty short and you can actually get through in the demo.
Yeah.
But then one that was more like an infinite mode that just keeps going and going.
Because I like that one because the backgrounds like would change like constant.
Yeah.
It was like bam, bam, it kept moving and changing.
And speaking of the backgrounds themselves revolve as you rotate the screen. And so like
wow.
I went into a new screen. I'm like, why are all those buildings upside down? It's because I had rotated around all the way on a different screen, which is pretty slick as well.
Yeah, because like at one point, like the water was behind me, because that's how I didn't even understand. You know, it was behind me because I don't do tutorials. I think there is one in the game though, too.
There's button.
Yeah, and
controls.
I spun it, and then it was underneath me, and I'm like, oh, so I'm horizontal now. You know, it was really neat. It wasn't so jarring to the fact where I didn't know where I was doing or where I was going because you only go right.
Yeah.
So, it's just a neat gameplay.
Yeah,
it was neat.
I was quite impressed by it.
Yep.
I like when I come in here and don't know anything about these games, and then you guys make me excited to go play them.
It's pretty slick. It's pretty basic in terms of the actual shooting and stuff. And sometimes, you know, I was shooting things without even realizing it.
Yeah.
You also have charge shots as well.
Yeah. Yep.
With the X button or something.
I believe it is too. Yeah.
Yeah, and
It shoots out like a beam.
yeah, which was good against the boss because that boss was hard.
Yes.
But that one was slick.
Cool.
The last indie game I have for this show
Already?
is, Zombies Ate My Cookies.
Yes.
Zombies ate my cookies.
Yes, there's some Z's in there, and the 8 is an 8. So it's a multiplayer twin stick shooter. And basically, you control these small tanks on like a table as these swarms of mini zombies crawl over the edges of the table and try to get to the center and grab the cookies that are there. And as they're grabbing the cookies, they're eating them, but they're also trying to pull them. Like they're working as a team, like Pikmin, or like ants or something like that, carrying the cookies to the side of the table. Because if it goes over the side of the table, then that cookie's gone.
Gotcha.
Gone.
Yo.
And so you have this little tank, which doesn't have like a constant barrage of fire. You're shooting more shots.
Yeah, you can switch over from like a rocket, not like a rocket, but like a bomb to like a machine gun.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if
You pick up weapons.
yeah, there's also like a spread, and then you run out of those too.
Yeah.
But
And you also have this requires a charge, I believe, but you press X or B, I can't remember which one, but it launches out like this wave from around your tank, so that way if the zombies are all on top of you, you can kind of push them back or
'cause
kill some of them.
They can pull you too.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Which is pretty neat about the game.
Yeah, definitely. And so I liked it. I thought it was really kind of a cool idea, kind of a cool spin on something that's been done several times before.
Yeah.
My issue with the game is that it seems to be really heavily aimed towards multiplayer.
Yeah.
And it's got 4-player local co-op.
Okay, yeah.
And it seems to be really... And the reason I say that is because I played on single player and I enjoyed myself somewhat on single player, but you lose pretty quickly on
Big
single
time.
player.
It's fast.
And so you need multiple people to be kind of covering all the different angles because these are swarms of zombies coming over the sides.
What I also liked about the game, and I played with it a little bit more, was on the table there was like there's the plate, of course, with the cookies, but there was a couple pens off to the side. And a Post-it. Well, I dragged the pens over.
Because you can drag things too, I forgot.
I blocked the cookies.
Oh man, you're brilliant.
So then I stood at the where
You don't need no instructions.
I made it like a tube, you know, and I was at one end of it, and then the zombies were trying to get to the cookies, and I was at the front, but then they got to the back, and I couldn't. I was already swarmed. I mean, it worked at that time, but if you had more than a couple people, then plus there's some other game modes involved too.
Yeah, there were.
There was a football one, but
that is totally multiplayer. You cannot start it without having 2 controllers
at all. Wow. So, and I should have checked that one out. Yeah. It's 400 points. It's from Fritz Games.
It's 400.
It's 400 points, and I think that was the other part to me. That was if it was multiplayer online, I'd probably jump on it.
Yeah, or if I had roommates around, I would still jump on it. I mean, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 4 players.
You
do a lot of at home gaming with multiple people. It's totally that is a game that's great. The menus are great. I mean, the style looks good. It looks really neat. It's just I wish I had. multiple people.
I really think it depends on the multiplayer, though.
Yep.
Unfortunate, but
It's too bad, but really,
worth
really
checking
cool.
out.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. Is that it for indie?
that is
That
You
is
guys
it.
got any more?
That was it.
All right, only 27 indie games this time.
I came with some this week.
Yeah, you did. You guys are all prepared.
There we go.
How about some XBLA? Should we
Sounds
move
good.
on?
We can do it.
Do we want to do some older XBLA first before we do the new stuff? Because I've got at least one.
Yeah, I've got
to
some,
revisit.
I've got an older one as well. What with all the sales going on over the holidays.
Well, one of them I picked up was Lara Croft,
Nice.
Guardian of Light.
Yes.
We've already talked about the game at length with Craig. I knew you played it.
Oh, yeah.
Originally, I picked it up during the sale because it was a stupid price, like half off.
Yeah.
I loved it.
So
I
good.
think it's so fun.
Yeah.
It was much deeper than I expected, even knowing what I knew going in. It was a lot longer than I expected.
Yeah.
I still have not done any co-op as of yet
Oh.
because I was sick.
Right.
And I couldn't talk. Before a couple days ago, I couldn't talk at length without coughing. So
Right.
You're doing pretty good today.
I'm doing all right right now. Thanks for jinxing me.
I
Appreciate
know.
that.
That's my job.
Sorry, everybody at home in the upcoming hour.
Hilarious.
But I don't know. I did the first couple of levels, and I know it took me like 2 hours to like get through, I don't know, 4 or 5 levels or whatever. And I stopped, and I'm like, oh, just let me look at the level select. I'm like, holy shit, there's a lot of levels. Like, I didn't have any idea. Now, some of those will take you, your first time through will take you 30, 40, 50 minutes
Right.
on some of them. But
Right.
then there's some that are like 10 to 15. There's a couple that are like more just like boss battles.
Yeah, there are
So
some of
those are a
those,
little
yeah.
shorter. But going back and finding all the stuff, I'm gonna love it.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
I'm not doing it right now
Right.
because I hope that I can get back to it and do it because I do want to go through and find some stuff. I love that they track this stuff.
Yes.
After you've been through, so you don't have to find everything in one go.
Right.
And I love being able to know ahead of time what I'm looking for
Yeah.
and
all,
what to do.
And all the collectibles are useful. I
Yeah,
mean, the
that's the other
collectibles
thing,
are
yeah.
things that you can equip to your characters and have them, enhance their stats.
And I know we talked about it, when you talked about the game,
Yeah.
but I love that whole aspect
very
of the
nice.
game, the artifacts and
Relics.
the relics, and that they only are active when you've either picked up so many items or done so many attacks
Without getting
taking damage,
Yeah.
and that's when it's active. And I loved the challenge of keeping that, and well, I know I can do this because if I get my relic activated, I'm going to be fine. Like,
Yeah.
because I had that one that was doing some health regen and some ammo regen
Oh, yeah.
on those
Ammo
secondary
regen
weapons,
is brilliant.
and that was awesome.
Yeah.
You just run around, and so
Oh, yeah.
I loved it. I love the puzzle aspect. I love the level design. I thought
Mm-hmm.
the level design was fantastic, like amazingly done. I know when we talked about it, I loved being able to like see aspects of the level on different
we
like
did
different
talk about
elevation
that, I remember,
levels.
yeah.
And you're way above, but you can see this area down below, and you
Yeah.
eventually get to that,
Right.
and vice versa. You can see where you were at before.
Yep.
I just love that design aesthetic. I just had a blast with it. I thought it was really well done. It's such a tight game. It's really tight.
Surprisingly so.
Although I did have one issue in one level where I spent probably a good 30, 40 minutes, and it's one of those where you had to get all these boulders grouped up and drop them in from areas. So you had to basically collect 6 boulders,
Yeah.
and it was from this huge level, so you had to get them grouped up and drop down. And I went down there, and one of them disappeared somewhere.
Oh, really?
So I had to redo the entire level.
Oh, that's weird.
I spent 15 minutes retracing that entire level. It was nowhere.
That's bizarre.
And I knew that there was like 3 at this top area, and
Yeah.
it was one where you had to bomb them into this bowl, and they would kind of drop down. And I bombed 3 of them down to that area, and when I got down there were only 2. So it's like one got hit and knocked off somewhere,
That
or
sucks.
something happened. Yeah. So I was freaking out, and I'm like, I'm probably going to save time just starting over
Yeah.
instead of looking for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because now I can just run through the level all quick because
Right.
I don't have to collect all this stuff.
Yep.
I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. It came this
And it's
close
a
to being my surprise game of the year.
Yeah.
Because I liked it that much.
And it's a sick deal. When it was $7.50,
yeah.
it was like half off.
yeah. Pretty good.
So good.
Pretty good. My blast from the past, also on sale, was Toy Soldiers,
yeah.
which was also half off, I believe. And going back to, what was it, the summer or the spring or whenever this came
It
out?
was the spring on
The spring. I've always been thoroughly impressed with like the design and the aesthetics of the game, of it being the toy soldiers themselves and all that. But my problem why I didn't pick it up the first time around, because you both picked it up, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't pick it
love
up.
it.
I didn't pick it up because I just have a general difficulty with tower defense games,
Mm-hmm.
and that namely comes from the fact that you can spend an entire 20, 30, 40 minutes playing a level and then die at the very end,
Yes.
and then you have to start at the beginning again.
Yeah.
And that can be very frustrating for me. But that is still frustrating for me. But
I was gonna say that this game doesn't do away with that.
no, but I think the hands-on element that
Yeah.
that Toy Soldier offers that you don't get in a lot of other tower defense games, being able to take control of that, and in fact being better in a lot of cases than because I noticed the machine gun fires faster when you take control of it.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Or jumping in a plane.
Yeah, jumping in a
Or a
plane,
tank. Yeah.
and taking care of business yourself. I think that has two beneficial effects. One, it makes you feel like you're more in control, so that if you lose, then you don't feel as helpless if you lose at the end of it. You're like, oh, I just screwed something up.
You just hate yourself more.
Exactly. And there was a second thing, and I can't remember it now.
I'm sorry.
No. I mean, overall, you can rely on the same basic strategies throughout the game if you look at who's going to be coming first, coming next down the line. But there are challenges on the score leaderboards, and there are occasional oddball levels in there that kept it interesting. That definitely didn't feel like I was doing the same exact thing.
Well, and
time
even
again.
just the changing up the path sometimes.
Yeah.
Where they throw in like all of a sudden these guys will come out from the side or like in the back, right next to the door.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what? I was concentrating all in the front.
Yeah, exactly.
And even times where you're limited on your positioning that you can lay out.
Yes.
And so then they'll switch. All of a sudden, they give you a bunch of planes, and you got to sell off your howitzers or whatever and put in planes.
Anti-aircraft, yeah.
And you're like, wait.
Yeah. Campaign Plus was a little disappointing in that it's mostly a rehash of the same maps, even to being on the same position. But I said mostly. But especially when they reused bosses, like when it was the exact same bosses, I was a little disappointed with that.
Yeah.
But it does throw some new twists at you that are really cool. For example, on a couple of maps, you were on the opposite side, so instead of being on top of the hill defending all these guys, defending the high ground, you're at the bottom of the hill and had to have all these guys rushing at you from up above. And even the very first level, which was an exact same map, and I think you're even on the same side, but it was at night and it was pitch black, and the only time you could see was when these flares were going over or any explosives hit the ground. It was really cool.
It's a great effect though.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And so, you get all these additional challenges, and I liked it a lot. I mean, obviously, I picked it up. I played through the entire campaign. I went back and got a couple of the achievements for doing things like completing the challenges and getting general status and stuff like that. And I've got
stuff I haven't even done.
I've got I think halfway through Campaign Plus. That one's a little more slow going because I actually find those to be a little more difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I also picked up the DLC for the game, both the Kaiser's Battle and Invasion.
I picked up Invasion.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you get to play it?
I did.
Okay. You had the Kaiser's Battle before,
I
right?
did.
Okay,
Yes.
so you
I-
did.
I played
have-
Kaiser's Battle.
I have Kaiser's Battle. I haven't played it yet.
You are a tard like me sometimes.
I need to touch back on this game.
A lot of it for both Kaiser's Battle and Invasion are largely more of the same.
Yeah.
But I found personally that Invasion manages to really kind of accentuate the fighting toys aspect of the game,
Yeah.
which I sometimes lost when I was playing like for regular campaign and campaign plus, because you're so involved in that battle and you're so on the ground level.
Yeah, because I mean, with the Invasion one, I pretty much you have to take the sky at points because those spaceships come out and then they have those big like the Zeppelin ones.
Yeah.
And those things will tear shit up on the ground. So I had to like go to the sky and take them out. Like you couldn't. I mean, I found it overwhelming almost because those little saucers would come out, those UFOs, and they would come out like hundreds at a time. Almost it felt like.
Yeah.
They just came nonstop.
Yeah, guns were pretty good because I think the saucers were replacements for the helicopters, so they move pretty slowly.
Yeah.
But if they get over top, then they're going to bomb the shit out of you.
Right.
But,
It was those Zeppelins I had the most problem with.
The Zeppelins were a little more
because they would
difficult.
take everything out, and they took so many hits.
Yeah. But what I was saying for it accentuates the fighting toys aspect is because it's almost like the kids playing this war game ran out of army toys, and so they basically just grab whatever shit's sitting around.
Right.
So the soldiers are now spacemen, but the cavalry are now knights riding on horseback. I think the armor cars were replaced by fire trucks.
Yep.
And so you just have like these wacky things coming at you instead of your traditional army dudes. And I think that was nice for me because it kind of made it a little more lighthearted. It gave it a slightly more playful feel than I think I was having with just the basic campaign and campaign plus.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was a ton of fun. I still never finished it. I got to the last level and like died. I don't even remember.
Oh
what
man,
happened.
I had to fight that last boss like 4 times.
You know what? I don't think I ever finished Kaiser's Battle because I made it all the way to the end of Kaiser's Battle, and then that guy destroyed me, and I got super pissed. And I don't think I went back. I got super mad.
You have to,
I got everything set up, and then all of a sudden it was just like it was done, and I was like, "What?"
And those guys have some surprises too. I don't want to spoil them.
But it almost gets disheartening where it's like I work and I work and I work and I do like 3 levels and everything was fine, and then I do that level like fine, and then it destroys you because you did one thing wrong or like had something positioned wrong.
Or you didn't expect something. Often for me, I wasn't expecting something, and
I think we could go back to our original Toy Soldiers discussion, and that was one of my problems with it, is that you shouldn't have to battle through like a half hour, 40-minute, whatever it is, level to find out how the boss attacks and then ultimately redo it, because there's no way for you to beat it the first time unless you're lucky.
Yeah.
Because you need to learn their attack modes and their paths.
I don't find that true for all the bosses in the regular
Not
game.
all of them, but there was a couple, and I would think maybe I was talking about the last boss in the game.
The last boss was pretty brutal.
It was total like bullshit. I'm like, I thought this whole way through, and then he totally got this. Now I know what to do.
Right.
But it's kind of lame that I had to experience it the one time and lose to learn that lesson.
Yeah. I agree. I got frustrated at it, but at the same time, it was also kind of exhilarating because I was, doing damage control everywhere. I'm running around like, oh, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
So I liked it a lot. I liked both the DLCs too. Invasion stuck out to me more because it does have that slightly more lighthearted feel.
Yeah.
But both had a nice variety of new maps. Both had a nice variety of new maps that, the maps themselves were sometimes challenging, because I think there was one for the Kaiser's battle that it's like really short. Like
there was one of them, yeah.
But the guys run back and forth or something like that for a little bit. But once you get like tanks or something, you have to react quickly.
Yeah, you have short area to cover.
So
I love that game.
It's very good.
It's a fun game.
It was very good. Yeah, and I was able to abate my frustration well enough to really enjoy it.
And I'm glad they've supported it with the DLC, because it's well done, and it doesn't just feel tacked on. I mean, it feels like they put a lot of work into like making it different and a better experience. So very happy with it.
Cool.
Any other older XBLA games?
That's it for the old stuff for me.
I can talk about Scott versus the World.
Because you got the DLC, didn't you?
DLC,
That's right.
and
Go ahead.
we can tag that on to the end of the Toy Soldiers DLC. The Knives Chow add-on pack. It was 120 points, and
I forgot about.
And I loved every minute of it. No achievements came out with it, so for you people at home that are achievement whores.
Or worried about adding achievements.
Or that too, because that's kind of scary lately.
You had some problems, didn't you?
Oh no, I'm not talking about me.
Not me. I haven't had problems, but I've been seeing people having problems. But it came with you can play as Knives during the regular gameplay, of course, because that's the add-on pack. But then it came with Dodgeball and Battle Royale, which is fantastic fun. I got to play some Dodgeball last night, and a little 2-player. Battle Royale was summertime, and I told her just to beat me up because I picked my Scott, who was like, big level, and I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, so just beat me up. Just beat me up for this first round. And she goes, well, why? And I hit her once, and it was like 12, and she hit me 1. And she's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, just
play this game with me,
yeah,
and then kill her in one hit.
Play
again.
But I really the whole battle royale is awesome because it's got like this wrestling ring in the center, and then there's like weapons along the sides that you can pick up. Weapons. There's tires, and there's I think a garbage can, a sword.
Knowing me, I'd probably run over there to pick them up, punch it, and it bounced back and hit me. And
there you go. That sounds about right.
That's about the game for me.
That's what Dodgeball's all about. Because Dodgeball is a big giant, it's a beach ball in the center, and you're got all the big blonde guys that are mean throughout the whole entire game.
Not the blonde guys.
And so you can either pick it up and throw it, or kick it and punch it and throw it. But most of the time, it bounces back and hits you. But I mean, that adds to the laughs. It was for 120 points. I really loved it. It got me playing the game again, and got me really kind of going, I need to sit down and go through them all, and like I wanted to begin with. I got to work on all of the characters and get them up to snuff.
Cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I really liked it. I mean, it's more Scott Pilgrim awesomeness. So
I know there were some problems with it initially because it came out, but there wasn't an update for the game.
Yeah.
So it wasn't recognizing the DLC.
Okay.
So it took a couple days or a week to get the update for the game to come out. So people who bought the DLC at first couldn't even use it. Which is awesome.
Because it did the update right away, and then of course I had the game.
Because if you didn't do it right away, then
I'm glad it worked for me.
There you go.
That's awesome.
That'd have been great. I bought this. I can't use it.
Yeah, that would be rough.
It sucks for people, but it works now. So
yep.
Yay.
Do we want to just jump into the holiday games or save those?
We got a bunch.
We do have a bunch.
Let's do them.
Okay.
I don't have any other XBLA, so
what's first then?
Well, let's go in order. Let's go with Keflings.
Okay.
World of Keflings.
You're not going to lead it?
So that was awesome. No, World of Keflings came out. It was the first for the winter program. I don't remember what the promotion was called.
I think they were just
holiday games.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. I haven't played enough of it. I certainly haven't played on the level that I played with Kingdom.
Oh, really?
As of yet.
I blew that one away.
Well, also my wife took it over. And I couldn't even get to it. But when I did play, I don't know.
I thought your excuse was you were sick.
I was sick as well. I kind of honestly ran out of steam with it. Like I played the first one quite a bit. Like I played a lot of it and just had fun with. I mean, it was a relaxing game. I was sitting around, and maybe I just had too many other distractions.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I was kind of wanted to get into Raskulls.
Right.
So I bought that right away and jumped in. That was probably a bad thing for them to offer those at the same time. But I don't know. I liked some of the changes that they've made to the game from Kingdom, because I know now, or maybe if you've played more of it, maybe you should talk some about it. But
I thought it was a great improvement over the first game, because
yeah.
I think a lot of the changes they removed some of the more mundane aspects of this game, which, if you're not familiar with Kingdom of Keflings or World of Keflings, it's basically a task-oriented resource management sort of game, where you're mining resources. Yeah, you're mining resources and you're building buildings and processing resources, things like that. There were a lot of things I liked about it over Kingdom of Keflings and just in general. One that was nice when the game just started up, there wasn't any of this pretense of like in-game characters like they had in Kingdom, where it's like, oh, you could choose one of these 4 characters, or you could choose your avatar. They just go straight to the avatar,
right? Because who's not going to choose their avatar?
Who is not going to choose their avatar, smashing around, kicking little people and things like that? So it was nice that they just went straight to that. They added these builder helper guys that you collect as you play through the game, and they follow you around, and they do things like toting building pieces from across the map. So like now you can go.
That was handy.
You can go to a workshop, say build these 6 things, and then you can just walk away to where you want to build the building, and the builder guys will go back to the workshop, pick it up, carry it over to you, and then you can get it from them, put it down, and then they'll go. Meanwhile, they're running back off to get the next piece that's coming out of the workshop. So
you don't have to go back and forth 6 times to get all the pieces.
Nice. And if you've already built a building once, all you have to do is have a blueprint open, put down one piece of the building, and they will build the rest of it. They'll go get the pieces. They'll put it in the right place. Yeah, things like that. So that was very nice. I liked that. It felt like there's more exploration going on here. Some of the worlds were a little smaller. But
can I talk about those dudes again real quick?
Oh yeah, the builders.
I kind of hate that you can't assign them menial tasks. Because
like
they're
what?
all, like if you want them to like get wood or chop wood or move that stuff, that you can't really put them on those duties. They only carry the big pieces. I kind of hated that they were always in tow and almost in the way.
Yeah,
but you couldn't put them to work. Like, because there was times where I was just like, leave me alone. Like, I'm not building anything right now. I'm just collecting resources. So could you guys do that while I'm waiting? And they're just like, duh.
Yeah, that was one of my annoyances of the game. Was sometimes I would build parts of the building, but it was like a 20-piece building or something, and so I had to go over to this other shop and figure out what I needed there. And meanwhile, they're coming around. I got this piece for you. I got this piece, and I'm trying to like activate the building to go in there and all that. And I'm picking up pieces. I'm like, God damn it! And I'd have to put it back down.
I kind of don't understand why they required you to build one building once, because there's a number of buildings, like outside of houses, there's a lot of buildings that you're really only going to build one version of them.
Right.
Or very limited. I kind of wish that if you put one piece down, that they would just automatically build it all the time.
I think they did that to require you to kind of
build stuff,
be involved in the construction, not just put a piece down and walk away and never watch a building get built. I think they added they will do it for you so that houses in particular, you don't have to keep building houses over and over again.
That's true. That's a good point.
But I do also agree that the builders kind of got in the way. Like I was kind of just on the outskirts of town, and I was mining some stuff, and all 5 builders were standing behind me, and they were literally blocking traffic. So other Keflings were trying to transport things back and forth, and they would get stuck in my builders. I'm like, seriously, guys, back off. But overall, I do find them helpful. Like I was saying before, I kind of feel like exploration is extended a little bit in this in the sequel. It's a little bit beyond just walking around and then you see hey, there's something trapped in those crystals. I better mine that out, because in particular, you can use bridges to get to islands and find new areas in the world, and you can also use those bridges to kind of create shortcuts to areas to collect resources, which can be very nice, so that your Keflings aren't walking for an hour back and forth just trying to transport things.
They can be stupid sometimes too.
Well, they can
take the long way.
that was one of my annoyances. I had another annoyance, but I'll get to that in just one moment. The last thing. Oh no, that's not the last thing. Another thing that I liked was that the Keflings upgrade the more work they do.
Yes, I love that addition too.
So
because that wasn't in the first game, right?
No, they did not upgrade. They level up basically. They kind of glow. Is that it? And then you punch them, and
they get like something over their head. Yeah, and then you can hit them,
and then they go to a new level, and they work better.
They work faster.
Now, I never was able to figure out if you unassign someone basically to a task. So like this guy's been chopping wood and hauling it to level 3. You know, if I unassign him, does that make him a level 1 again?
I don't think so. I think that he is level 3.
He's just really awesome.
So he's just quick no matter what you assign him to.
So one thing that was really nice was I was trying to especially when I got new Keflings into my town, was I would assign them to a task that they could repeat really quickly. You know, that wouldn't require them to walk very far because they level up faster. The more cycles that they do it, the faster they level up. So that was really nice, and I didn't expect that at all. And then lastly, of course, being able to push buildings around, because I always construct my buildings too close to each other. And then
it was such a bitch in the first one to move things because you had to break it apart,
you had to break it,
pick it up by piece, and reposition it again.
Yeah.
Now you can slide things like by pushing on them, and you can push them left or right, up and down, whatever you want to move.
Which was very nice because it
was handy. It was nice to build your little towns.
Allows traffic to flow.
Because what I would do is I would build like a little communes for everybody, so everybody's houses were together. Yeah. But I could like line them all up perfectly, and I kind of didn't have to worry about it right when I threw them down and build them. I could like move them at a later date.
Exactly. So. Or if all your resources. There was one point where I moved part of town into a sort of a suburb outside of town because they had mined all the resources immediately around town. And so they were so far off that I was just like, well, shit, I'm just going to move the workshop over there.
Yep.
Yeah. So they can process things faster. Yeah, that was really good. The only other annoyance that I had was sometimes I found my Keflings were going haywire and they would just tote a resource and then they'd drop it in an empty spot. And then I have like this big heap of like 200 things. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's going to take me forever.
I think my wife had that too, where she was playing and she would just be like, "What are you doing?" Like it's somebody that she knows she assigned something, but they're just like doing their own thing all of a sudden. Yeah, or like going the weird path.
Occasionally, I would carry a Kefling. Oh, you're going to haul wood from here over to this building, and I accidentally put them down behind the building instead of in the building. That would happen, but there was literally a time when 3 different Keflings were dropping things in this open area with no buildings around it. I'm like, what are you doing?
How did you even get this idea? Because it wasn't from me.
Just fire them.
You kick them.
Remove their hats.
You just kick them? I just drowned him.
He could go on.
You can't drown him.
He could go on cannon cycle. Just put him in infinite cannons.
Although, there are cannons you can shoot him out of.
Musical cannons.
I did trap one though in the water, kind of, because I think she was behind a house that I pushed, and she kind of got stuck on the water. So every time I start my game, she's out there on the water behind this house. I can't get to her. I wonder if I move the house thing, if she'll get out.
That might that might work.
I just left her there.
She's the lady in the lake.
She's trapped. She's a legend.
She's got Excalibur.
Those cannons. You guys should. Have you looked up any of the things people have done with those cannons?
Yes, they make like whole songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's awesome. Because they make different notes.
And they can go at different rhythms, and they can rotate, and so, it's the things that people do with that is insane.
I know there's an achievement on there for having them go through an amount.
Yeah, I just created a small cycle, and you just went around.
My wife built a circle, sent them all through.
Yeah.
Nice.
They just kept going through.
Very
I know
cool.
that she was upset
I think
about...
you shoot sheep through.
She was upset about the lack of free play, because there was a free play option in the first game where you kind of had unlimited. It was like gave you a large area, and you could just keep going with stuff and doing this like a whole free play mode, and that's not in the second one, and I know that kind of bums her out.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they folded that into the forest world, because that world is huge.
Yeah.
I got nowhere near depleting that area of its resources, and that was a giant town. And I even assigned Keflings to just mine things after a point, because I would get tired of I would just be like, everybody mine shit, and then everybody got reassigned to hauling shit eventually.
I'm glad that there were no achievements tied to online stuff, because that first time around there was one that like had those banner things you had to make when you would play online, and that was a bitch to try and get organized. So I'm glad that none of that stuff's there. I like to see that collectible stuff, that like trading the viral like collectible things was kind of neat.
I forgot about that.
So you send messages to people that are these collectibles that are objects you can use in the world,
decorative objects.
And so you have a certain number that you can use, but if you get collectibles from other people, they'll send you a random number, or a set number, but a random selection of the collectibles they have available. And so basically it's a viral thing where you keep sending messages to people and you get more and more. And so like somebody would send me and I would get like 40 of them, and I would be like 19 I didn't have.
Yeah.
I've gotten messages from people before who are kind of at the beginning part of their game by the point that I
you
was
have nothing
playing.
new,
So they had nothing new.
Yeah.
But I think I'm down to like needing 2.
I think I'm at 2 as well.
Those 2, I wonder where they come from.
And 1 looks like it's a Ninja Bee, so I wonder if that's
it's like
one of the
employee only.
Yeah, play because I know they had a special night shortly after the game came out.
So then maybe it's a viral thing where if you get it from somebody who has it, then
Probably.
it's kind of awesome. I like that
pretty cool.
aspect a lot.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. Like I said, I think it was a great improvement over the first game. I had a lot of fun with it, and I keep meaning to go back to it. Actually,
And definitely worth the $10.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that all of these holiday games were $10 because it's a great price point.
Definitely.
For them. But my distraction because of Keflings, and I was just most excited to get to Raskulls as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because I've been wanting Raskulls for like 9 months now. More than that. It was like February of last year I was contacting Half Brick and like excited about Raskulls.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, it's coming.
and they're like, "We're making our indie games. What are you doing?"
And then
bothering
the
us?"
I know the spring promotion came out last year, and I was like, "All right, Raskulls," and it wasn't there. And then Summer of Arcade came out, and it wasn't there. And then the fall thing came out, and it wasn't there. And I'm like, "Where the hell is it?" And
This is why I don't look forward to things.
Here it is, the holiday release, and I love it.
Yeah, it's really good.
We all 3 got it right.
Yeah.
It's an action platformer, puzzler / racer,
multiplayer race party game. Yeah.
It's like so many things.
Yeah.
And it was so surprising to me because I mean, it gets a lot of likeness to the old Mr. Driller games, where you're basically a little character who has this shock stick thing,
wand.
zap wand that hits these blocks and you make them disappear, and it's all about maneuvering around levels, sometimes doing races, sometimes they're puzzle aspects, getting through these levels by removing bricks. They're all kind of bite-sized levels, but I was not expecting the variety that we got with the game, because
definitely.
you go around kind of a Mario style, like a Super Mario World style map, where you go to these little circles and do that level, and a lot of different types of tasks. Some of them will be a race. Some of them will be a single-player race where you have to just do your own time. Some of them will be a 4-player race where you're playing against the computer. There's some that are puzzles as far as getting to the end, the finish line, using the least amount of zaps possible.
Right.
So you have a limited number of zaps, and there's a way to get more in the level. But you have to get basically to the end by still having zaps available. There's lap relays.
Well, you could use your last zap and then run
And then
there in
run.
the last 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. Those are always high stress times. There's relays where you got to go around multiple laps, and you get like little time bonuses. There's just so many different types of gameplay, and I was not anticipating that at all.
And for some of them, you would finish the challenge and then bloop, it popped back up. Hey, you got a more specific challenge.
Yeah,
where
where
it would like add a new wrinkle to the
They
test.
make a time challenge now instead of just getting through it.
Yeah, exactly. Things like that.
I love it.
There was one that had like 4 stipulations on it.
Ugh.
At the same time, it was like, don't let these pots shatter with limited number of zaps and a timer and whatever the last
I will, and
requirement
this is what I'll say when I first started playing it, because I played the demo first.
Yeah.
And I played the first couple of levels, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cute. You know, it seems kind of easy, though.
Oh, yeah.
It is deceptively simple. Like, it is ridiculous.
yeah.
That first world or that first area that you played, like the
Yeah.
stuff that you get in the demo, is so easy. And then you get into some of those others, and they're like, wait, what? And it's like the one that I'm thinking in particular is this like almost eight shaped, like an infinity logo shaped relay system, and you got to do 8 laps.
Yeah.
And I think I can get to 3.
Yeah.
And I'm like, seriously? How do you even get to 4? Because you do have a boost option as well, where you can get this power. You build up your little power, and you can have a short little boost run. With when you hit your trigger.
It's like when
button.
Mario gets the invincibility star.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A little bit. So what do you guys think of it? What did you guys think?
Mighty Skull Boy Army. I absolutely,
That's true.
I absolutely
You should
love
sue them.
I love this style. I love the look. But like you said, the demo was a little deceiving. I played a couple levels, but just really kind of fell in love with the whole idea. And then
I love the design.
When I bought the full game and started really playing some of the other levels, I'm like, well, this is just it opens up and it becomes more like there's times where I was just sitting there staring at the screen. Like, there's no time, like on some of the ones that don't have time limit. I'm staring there going, okay, hit that one, hit that one, hit that one. Okay. And then this, you know.
Yeah,
and,
the puzzle aspect.
And I love that aspect to it. I mean, the only problem I had with the game was I wish I could move the camera down or left or right to see what's coming up.
Yeah.
That's the only
On some
thing.
of those puzzle
Yeah,
ones?
that's the only nitpick thing, because there's sometimes you got to get jars for your speed boost.
Yeah.
And you got to find those, and it's like, well, do I get it? Is there more below me, or do I need to go to the one on the right?
Well,
you know?
it's definitely a game that benefits from playing through levels multiple times.
And I like that too, because I sat there like, okay, one more time, one more
Well,
time.
that's the other thing.
Tell me about it.
That helps
And
too.
then when
with-
you're done, it's like, how did I not get that the first time?
and that's what helps with it being bite size. You know, with levels taking 30 seconds to a minute,
Yeah.
or some of them are going to be longer, obviously, if you're
Yeah.
doing a puzzle one. But they're super easy to redo again and quick. And sometimes it was just a lot easier to restart the level.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then it does also become some of those races and those time situations becomes you can't make a mistake. It's all about
definitely.
precision.
Those are the frustrating ones where a single error, or not even a full error, but just like
And
a
it's like-
slight delay.
and you can't even like try to make it up. You're better off just to restart the whole thing.
That is not. I want to emphasize that is not the whole game. These
Correct.
these are usually challenges that are marked as being more difficult challenges
Yes.
and are not required in order to finish the game as well.
Yeah.
Because there are branching paths, so you don't have to do every challenge. That's
There's a
in
couple
there.
I skipped.
Yeah.
That were like, I'm not going to do this because
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go this easier route.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of awesome.
Yeah, I do find that sometimes the wand doesn't respond every time,
really?
or maybe there's a timing thing that I haven't figured out that you can't hit the wand button too often, because often I would get caught up on those challenge ones because I have a short time limit, and I couldn't get my damn wand to fire. And I'd run right into a block, and then it would shoot it, and then blah, blah, blah. So that was kind of weird, but. And the races. So we haven't even talked about the multiplayer aspect of it as well, which is almost a completely different beast, because it's the races, which are like a nail-bitingly good time because it's like this total free-for-all.
They were so fun.
Yeah, I've played a couple with people I don't know, and it's like I have no idea whether I'm going to win or lose at the end of this, and usually it's by a hair's breadth if I do win.
Yeah.
And there was one that I was trailing the entire. So it's a group of 4 races, and then you get points at the end of each race, blah blah blah. And I was trailing the first 3 races. I think I was sitting at like 3rd or 2nd most of the time, but then I looked at it and I did the math, because there were 2 guys who were mostly battling it out for first. They would alternate back and forth, and I'm like, if I can snatch first from these guys, I can win this.
And we should mention you do get power-ups, too.
Yeah,
that you
there
can
are-
use.
yeah.
It almost becomes a little Mario Kart-ish through there
Yeah.
as well. So that helps switch around orders as
Oh,
well.
definitely. Because the power-ups can help you get through the race faster, but they can also affect your opponents. And sometimes they can do both simultaneously.
Yep.
And so I love the races. They're really tense. I feel really tense when I'm playing it, but not in like a frustrated sort of tension.
fun.
It's like oh my god, I got to do this real quick. Yeah.
And
I
when
like
we
it a lot.
played the races, because I've only played 2-player with Craig and I. I want to play a 4-player game because
Yeah.
they look crazy. But it really it made some of the level design stand out.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you get to the end and they have those end zones,
Yeah.
like the race flag or the end flag. And sometimes they'll go across the ceiling,
Yeah.
and then so you see, like, I remember that one time we got to the end and we were trying to jump to it,
Yeah,
and we couldn't
being
reach
dumbasses because I knew you couldn't reach it, but I'm still trying to jump at it. I'm like, it's right there.
So then I just ran straight ahead and hit it because it comes down on the
Yeah.
side. But like your initial reaction when you see the end thing is to try and hit it.
Well,
Yeah.
And so it almost plays on you where it's like you could just run to the end, but
You can actually hit it, because
That's true.
what I've done is if
Jump on the other people.
if I was ahead, I jump on their head and then jump off of that
Yeah.
as
Which
is
they're trying to
awesome.
run past me.
there's so many little like things like that are just so well designed
Yeah.
and so well done.
Yeah.
I wish there were more levels because it seems like it's kind of, but I guess there is 4 different.
Yeah, there are
Series.
four different cups, each with 4 races,
Yeah.
so there's 16 different levels
is
altogether.
quite a bit,
but
I
but
guess.
you're stuck doing 4 as a group, so maybe
Yeah.
if there's an ability to like mix and match, that would be cool.
That'd be
too.
cool.
I
Instead of
found
the same 4.
I found my gameplay. I went back to the old Mario days where I used to move with the controller,
Yeah,
and I find myself doing that with this game big
Yeah.
time. Especially when you get down there and you're like, jump, your whole body's like moving.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fun.
I would
game.
describe it as madcap.
Yeah.
Well, and there's also there's sometimes benefits to not being in the first place, which is awesome because they'll have things that are placed on top of these blocks.
Oh, yeah.
And so when the first couple of guys go through
Yeah.
and zap out some of the blocks, now the power ups have dropped down.
Right.
And so that design is amazing to me as well because it's constantly creating a battle where everybody's kind of in the same position. And so the guy in the end always gets, like, if you're last, well, here's the bonus of being last. Yeah, you're not in first place, but you're getting
Right.
to pick up these bonuses that everybody else is dropping. So then you can kind of zoom past them and switch positions
It's really, the levels are really well balanced.
Yes.
For the races,
completely.
definitely.
and the story's hilarious.
Yes.
I thought it was fun. I love the design. I love the character design.
Yeah.
They scream for like little plushies.
Oh, yeah.
Or like I want vinyl toys.
Oh, yeah.
All of them. I just want all of them.
Little PVC,
all over my house.
PVCs, like
Yes.
the old Smurf style.
Yes, I want them all.
That'd be the
I
shit.
love them.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And so for me, that was kind of my biggest draw. Is just when
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw the initial character designs, and I was like, I'm in.
I was laughing
I'm in.
so much at that game.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Definitely.
And we didn't even mention the leaderboard stuff too.
Oh, right.
Some of those levels have leaderboards that are available right there. When you go to the little spot on the map, it shows you your friends' leaderboards and where you rank. And I don't need to see that for half of them because I suck. I know.
I was specifically trying to beat you when it was.
It wouldn't have been hard, so you might want to set a higher goal for yourself.
Well, you were the only other person on that
Oh,
list
okay.
because this was the preview
When
one.
we were-
Yeah.
I bought it because I couldn't wait.
Yeah, understandable.
I loved it.
So we have our last holiday game. Now I'm not exactly sure what's the correct way to pronounce it. I was originally doing it like ilomilo, but
that could be.
I'm guessing it's ilomilo.
I don't know these foreigners.
Ilomilo?
I'm guessing it's-
Ilomilo is what I've been using.
Yeah, ilomilo would be what I guess for ties to game names like Milton and Ilona. So, but this is quite possibly my favorite puzzle game ever. I liked Raskulls a lot.
awesome.
I really, really am charmed by this game.
And I haven't gotten it yet. And I feel terrible, but I played the demo back like when they did it secretly,
Yeah,
in November. And
Yeah,
they
yeah.
told everybody.
I did not do that. I did pick it up once I got Raskulls, so I
Okay.
did get it like a few days early because through Raskulls. But fantastic music, fantastic art, character designs, the framing device stories. There's kind of a multi-layered story going on as well. I think the puzzles are absolutely brilliant because they really use three-dimensional space, and also because you have two characters that you can bounce back and forth controlling, there's these tandem actions, tandem triggers by using both of the characters, setting one up in one position, and so then the other guy can do something else. And using the three-dimensional space, and it often required you to just think outside the box. There are many instances where I was like, I cannot do this one.
Right.
What the hell is going on? I can't figure this out. And
Yeah.
I'd zoom out, look at the map, and I'm looking all around. I'm like, I can't figure this out. And then I'd stop thinking about the way to the finish that I thought I had to do. And I'm like, oh wait, it's right there. It's simple.
Yeah.
And I do it. I'm like, how the hell did I not see this for 20 minutes or
you
whatever?
overthink it.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly
Well,
what
because
it
I was, and also a lot of
Too
times
linear.
Yeah, a lot of times I was thinking too linearly. I wasn't thinking with the three-dimensional space
Yeah.
there. Fantastic. I was utterly charmed by it, and entertained too. And so for me, this falls in the same sort of puzzle game category as games like Limbo, games like Braid, that are high on artistic quality, but also really well produced challenge games, challenge puzzle games.
I love that this like came out of nowhere too.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden it was part of the it was before it was even part of that promotion, it was that little secret mystery thing,
Yeah,
that they were giving out. And
yeah.
I love the promotion behind it. I love them doing that and kind of getting the word of mouth spread on it.
Yeah.
I love the art style completely. I love the music. I love everything about the look and design of the game. It was one of those where I played the demo and I kind of saw like, because you go every level they add in a new little like twist or a new option. And it kind of shows you how the world's going to be changing and you're moving everything around all of a sudden. And like you mentioned, the 3D space. And you become more aware of that. And it kind of was the sign to me where I'm like, this is going to get nuts. Like there's going to be some levels in this game that
There
are
were some
nuts.
that I'm like, holy crap, what is going on here? And there are leaderboards for this as well, and they're measured by the number of squares that you walk over.
Oh,
And
no.
so doing it efficiently rather than backtracking back and forth, things like
I
that.
couldn't even like...
Well, but that's an added challenge on top of it, because once
Not
you
for
finish,
me.
Well, once you finish it out, then it's a little bit.
Yeah.
It'd be easier for you to go back and just fly through it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's. I really love the look of the game, like you were saying,
Yeah.
Jeremy. Both of you guys have been saying it's beautiful. I mean, the music's cool. I just see myself getting highly frustrated.
See, that's what I
I'm
was worried about
anticipating
too.
that. But I probably, with it being at that $10 price point,
It helps.
it helps. It helps. And down the road, I definitely see this as a game that I'm going to purchase. I mean, even though I know it's going to drive me nuts, I still can't get past the
That's
look
what I wanna hear
and the
from Craig,
feel
though.
and everything about it. I think it's just a beautiful looking game.
that was
Smart.
the concern I had too, was that it was going to drive me nuts
Yeah.
at the
That's what
beginning.
I'm worried about.
But it's such a laid back game. There's no time limits.
That's the other thing too.
I mean, even the leaderboards are not time based; they're movement based, and
So you don't feel
you
the
can just
pressure.
sit there and think about it. Take your time.
Yeah.
There's no enemies trying to kill you or anything like that. It's it's such a calm, and the music and the colors and everything is so calming and relaxing that it was really, I was feeling more relaxed playing the game than I was when I was not playing the game.
Cool.
So that was a concern I had at the beginning, but for me, it was completely alleviated.
See, that's where I got to the end of the demo, and I was like, these levels are just going to get ridiculous, because it was adding more and more elements.
Yeah.
And I got worried that all of a sudden
also,
I'm now going to walk into one that's like the equivalent of like 4,000 square miles, and I'm going to have to figure all that. And I'm like, I can't deal with this.
There are some ones where you're like, this is insane. I mean, they're kinds of puzzles that you really couldn't get in a lot of other puzzling games.
Right.
But you almost want to, I almost wanted, the more I want to get it, is just to see how far they go. Mm-hmm. That's the other, because I mean, even some of the ones that are just right with the demo and the trial version are fantastic. Then I'm like, they could just really do this and, you know, blow my mind. And especially when they show in gameplay, you know, for their, you know, you quit the, you know, you quit the trailer, the demo, and then they show you. There's some really neat looking stuff on there. Yeah, it's a beautiful game.
Each of the 4 worlds is really different, and you know, it adds new elements, but it also adds new aesthetics and things like that as well. Just really, really well done. And the story honestly is mostly a framing device, and it's not important to gameplay necessarily. It gives kind of a reason behind how, you know, your end goal or whatever. But the little story pieces that you collect and the memories that you collect as well, really, really good.
That's awesome.
I was really flabbergasted.
I forgot about that, because it's been a while since I played.
I was really flabbergasted by, especially the memory story,
because they're adding in these little stories, right?
Yeah,
like these, you get pieces of this like note and
that Sebastian guide tells you a story. Some of the challenge levels, so because you can also pick up the little Sofkas, which are little miniature versions of ilomilo, and if you pick up all of that color Sofka in all the different challenges in that world, then it unlocks a challenge world. And for each world, one of those challenges worlds is called Sebastian's story, and he tells you a part of the story, and while he's telling you this, it's animated like an 8-bit video game going on in the background, and there's just so many different story levels in there, and they're all really touching. I thought they were really touching and really well done, and really added to the atmosphere of the game and made me love it even more.
Oh man, I'm going to be done with it tomorrow.
Well, see, and that was the other point. That was like the thing about Limbo for me. It's like that game I knew was a game that was going to infuriate me and frustrate me, but the look and the feel and the whole story, and when I finished it, I was so happy with it. And then that's kind of what's driving me to pick this one up for real. So yeah.
Now Limbo's another one where I sat there and just stared at it a second and went like, what do I need to do? Oh,
you're like.
That's another one where you had to. I was thinking too linear with stuff.
Yep, and your brain just goes, duh.
If you want more high action, there is actually a mode. You can unlock something in the game that allows you to play the game in a similar way, but in a different way at the same time.
Nice.
I don't want to reveal too much about it.
Awesome. Now I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I thought I wasn't before.
So
I do want to play it.
Yeah. And some of those challenge go for the challenge levels, because the challenge levels are great, because there's the Sebastian story ones. There's also ones where everything is 8-bitted up, like, but they're giant pixels.
That's awesome.
So like the characters of Elo and Milo themselves.
It's another one that
way.
screams like I want just them to be marketed as shit. Like I want like
my God, yeah.
little figures of all of them.
Well,
I want
the
stuffed
cutscenes
animals.
in between are done with photos that they took.
Like plush ones, right?
Yeah,
like
plush ones, because you can go to their development blog and see the photos of them. Or no, those are some of the unlockable things, because you can also collect. You can collect the music and listen to that in game. You can also collect some photos and things like that.
I want them.
Really cool.
It's a really cool game.
Lots of XBLA.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that it?
No, that's not it.
Oh my God, what we got?
I've got 2 coming at you.
Oh, that's right.
I've got MicroBot, which came out at the same time as Raskulls and was largely overlooked for that. And this is a slick little twin-stick shooter, and it seems to have gone largely unnoticed. No one on my friends list has it yet. No. I haven't picked it up yet myself, but that's because I went a little too overboard buying indie games and XBLA this last month. So I'm going to be trying to pick it up here in January. And you play the role of this microscopic robot that's been injected into a human body to investigate this malady. Only you find out that the body's been infested by these other nanomachines that are taking over cells and you know, basically doing bad shit inside the body. And the robot that you control is customizable. And so you collect these little atoms from destroyed enemies or other places, and then you can reach these sort of contact points where you can contact the outside.
So you
or whatever,
call like Martin Short.
Yeah, basically.
Like, hey, what's up, man?
Basically,
with Meg Ryan
and
yes, that's the entire cast. Thank you. You did good.
And so. You can upgrade, you can change out weapons, you can increase the power of weapons, and apparently this little thing can have 8 different arms, each with weapons equipped to them.
Yes. That's awesome.
And then you can also upgrade like the propulsion system, and it's got like this harpoon that it can shoot out, which I haven't exactly figured out what exactly the point of the harpoon is. I use it sometimes though to kind of maneuver around, because if you can connect with something, it'll pull you, but it can also seem to pull enemies, but it's hard to hit enemies. But anyway, the atmosphere is wonderfully organic, both in terms of art and in the music. It's really got kind of a soothing feel for it for the most part, as you're kind of moving through the body, kind of like a heartbeat. But then every once in a while it'll like shock you, especially when you get to like a boss stage, and then all of a sudden it's like loud and like wah, and it's this great shift and really makes the boss areas stand out amongst all the rest of the level. But yeah, otherwise, because you're kind of just floating through this body, and there are streams for the blood flow, and like there are points where there's just red blood cells coming out, and you can shoot the red blood cells. It doesn't get you anything because they're not enemies or anything like that. And I'm like, sorry dude, because I had to shoot enemies that were on the other side of this blood cell stream or whatever.
Sorry buddy.
But you get caught up in like the currents, and that's what I use the harpoon for sometimes, is to kind of get past currents. But yeah, and the controls, the design, the music, they're all really great. You swim around the body, zap infected cells, cut off these like nanotech entry points. They're like syringe points or whatever being poked in. You collect these atoms. And yeah, like I said, if I hadn't gone so nuts buying all these holiday indie games and XBLA
Everything
games,
else.
I definitely would have picked this up. And so I am going to be picking this up.
Cool.
Like,
I'm gonna check out the demo. I didn't even look at it.
Yeah,
you definitely should. It's not going to be for everybody. It's got kind of a chill pace to it, and I think that's one of the reasons I like it, because it kind of stands out from
I'm pretty chill.
Some of the other twin stick shooters. I'm not saying you. I'm saying some people might not get into that.
I won't probably.
So I'll just let you know that ahead of time. But I really like the look of the interior of the body, because there's a lot of translucent things and things in the background and things in the foreground as you're kind of swimming through these veins and arteries.
Cool.
And really kind of cool. And then lastly,
Yes.
Dead Rising 2 Case West, the second downloadable content tied to Dead Rising 2.
And I got to be honest with you, I didn't know this was playable outside of Dead Rising 2.
I wasn't
thought it
sure
was
when
an
I first
add-on.
heard about it. Yeah, I kind of thought it might be an add-on, but no, it's separate.
That's brilliant of them.
It's separate. And just heads up, it is an epilogue, so if you don't want spoilers for Dead Rising 2, don't
Oh
play it.
shit! So you haven't played Dead Rising 2 yet?
Well, I haven't finished it, no. I don't care about spoilers.
Did you get Dead Rising 2?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
No.
So you don't care about spoilers. That's what you said. Never
He
mind.
doesn't. Yeah,
I just totally overheard
You
that.
don't hear those words put in that order.
I'm like, what? You don't care about spoilers?
And so I only played the demo through so far. This one is full 800 points as opposed to the 400 points for Case Zero, but it is more robust. And the biggest thing is, of course, I can't think of his first name now, but West from the first Dead Rising shows up.
Oh shit! What is his name?
I can't think of it. And so what's really nice is you have a permanent assistant, essentially. You know how you would get followers as you saved people, and you permanently have one of those people, and it opens the idea of the fun of Dead Rising 2 co-op to the downloadable title instead.
Very cool.
So instead of two people having to buy the $60 game, you can have two people buy a $10 game instead.
That's very cool.
And do basically the same thing. But if you don't have a co-op person, then it's auto controlled. Though it appears that when he's following you around, his weapons are not infinite like they are for followers in Dead Rising 2. So well, that's understandable.
No, I like it before. It's on,
because he's,
let them do all the
always there. Yeah, exactly. No, but he does a nice job. I found that West looks kind of weird because they gave him a graphical update.
Yeah.
Because the first Dead Rising was really early 360.
Yeah.
And he looks kind of, I don't know, he looks a little like Dan Aykroyd to me. It's kind of
I don't wanna
bizarre.
see
he got older.
It's kind of bizarre. And
Dan Aykroyd.
I was a little bit, that's the closest comparison I can make.
It'd be awesome if you could get like suits on and dress up like the Blues Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
and then drive
Blues
to the
Brothers.
mall in a car.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
See?
I'd be down.
Awesome.
How could we not get this game going?
And I was a little disappointed that, unlike Case Zero, there's no real at least that I could tell, there's no synchronization between character development in Dead Rising 2 and in Case West.
Okay.
Because you know how in Case Zero, the levels that you gained
Oh,
playing that
yeah.
would be
Carry over.
Carry over, yeah. From what I can tell, that there's no synergy back and forth between this, which, is not necessary, but would have been nice, because I thought that was a really nice feature of Case Zero. But yeah, like I said, I think the biggest draw for this is that it brings the fun of the Dead Rising 2 co-op, which I think we all agreed was one of the best parts of Dead Rising 2. to a downloadable title that is much more affordable and will not take so much time to complete together with a partner. So if those were your concerns about Dead Rising 2, definitely check this out.
Yeah.
Did they throw in the photo stuff again?
The photos are back.
Yeah,
the photos are
that's
back.
not
I don't
good.
think they're required except for like achievements. So,
Well, that's pretty much being required then, isn't it?
but there are new weapon combinations apparently
Nice.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, but there are spoilers. You kind of figure some things out. Some things are suggested.
So did you find it worth the $10?
Like,
okay, so this being $10,
Yeah.
is it on the same level as the Case Zero being $5?
I'm not as compelled to pick it up immediately like I was. Like with Case Zero, I'm like, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I would be an idiot not to pick
I
this
need to
up
buy
right
that
now.
and play it yet too.
I kind of feel like while I don't care so much about spoilers, I'm not going to pick it up right now because I do want to play Dead Rising 2 all the way through.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to hold off until that.
Just so you can do it in the progression of the story.
Right. Plus, as far as I know, only one person on my friends list has it. And like I said, I think the co-op is a big aspect of, or a big draw for this as well. Because this is kind of a continuation of the story. I don't know if it's like an alternate ending for the story or an epilogue for the story. I'm unclear because I don't know how the story actually
Seriously,
ends.
how's every goddamn game from this last year been on sale except for Dead Rising 2? I'm looking for it all the time, and it's $60 all
That's
over.
true.
Like,
That's a good point.
Can we not drop that price, please?
I know.
No, it's just that good.
Could EA not put it out so we could get it down to like $30 and-
Within 2 months.
Although I did see Amazon like the week before Christmas,
Yeah.
or 2 weeks before Christmas, Amazon had the collector's edition for like $30, and I totally missed it because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I looked up the week after.
I would have picked that up. It was,
Me
it
too.
was definitely on my gift lists. That
Yeah.
I had
Me
out,
too.
But I didn't get that this year.
That's because everybody hates us, Craig.
That's true.
I want that game.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I definitely want to get back and play more of that multiplayer. So, and if there weren't spoilers, I would totally make you buy this, and we could just play that there.
Hell yeah.
instead.
I
should
still
be
want to
fun.
get to it.
Yeah.
I will get to it at some point.
Yeah.
I want to get through too. I want to retouch on it. I got some demos to talk about. We
Yeah,
got any
me
demos
too.
to talk
Oh
about?
my
Yeah.
god, this show's gonna never end.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
It's the show
awesome.
that
These are
never
going to be.
ends.
No. Okay. These demos were on the Kinect Adventures demo disc, or on the disc itself for the game, which I thought was a nice touch.
So is this our Kinect corner?
It could be. We can start it off. But there was the fitness one and the drive one, and there was also Dance Central. I did get a quote from Summertime, my girlfriend, about Dance Central because I wanted to ask her about the game.
Was it beyond totally sweet?
She said "fucking awesome," and then
Wow.
and then she goes, "Well, wait, I'll change that. I need a more ladylike quote." And so then I told her, I'm like, "No, because I just used that one." So the one things I saw about Dance Central in the game, but I never played the demo. They have, just like Kinect Sports, they have a multiple photo shot, which
Yeah.
you do during
Yeah.
freestyle dances.
I heard about that.
Which Summer tends to do workout moves during.
She had
but
her clothes on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then they show the video, so it actually looks almost like video, but it's just a bunch of photos put together, which I thought was cool for Kinect Sports. They put that for that one, but they also did it for this Dance Central. And it was funny because like she was doing the dance, and I was like laying on the couch, and you could see me behind, and I'm like I could see my head because I'm all covered in blankets. And so, like, as she continued to play, I started doing stuff. And then, like, at one point, she's like, "You shoot yourself in the face?" And I'm like, "Nope." But then they had the Your Fitness Evolved, which I thought was a pretty cool game. It comes with this, it does a scan of your body, and it shows bones, not your bones, but bones in your body.
Dem bones.
Like height, your arm reach, all those things. And they had a cool block punching game that comes with it. And I realized I am not a fitness guy because I got into
You can't do cardio.
I did like 500.
Yeah.
Yeah, summer kept getting higher and higher into the thousands, 1,200, and I'm like, never mind. You can get that game. And then there was Kinect Joyride on there, which was a game that I was looking forward to. Absolutely had a ball with it.
Oh, cool.
Me and Summer, we did a 2-player with it.
I heard that game's terrible.
And I had some fun with it. The controls are a little bit
Your
weird.
standards are too high.
Okay, I've seen a guy on YouTube play Joyride.
Yeah.
And he did this.
But nobody can see that, Jeremy.
What I'm doing is I'm holding my hands up like a steering wheel and not moving them. And he did that the entire race.
I got to try
and
that
he
then.
won.
I got to try that then.
He just didn't even move.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Way
I'm
to
gonna
go.
I'm gonna try that.
You should try
because it always works with the boost works. That I can't drift unless
Well, all
I,
the stuff works, but I think you can still win
Isn't he also sitting
without
in
doing
kind of a
anything.
darker room?
Yeah.
too?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I wasn't
remember
there.
that video. The video.
Well, the video's mainly showing the
Yeah, but it also
screen.
showed him
a little
sitting
bit,
there.
yeah. But I could see him, so obviously it wasn't dark.
Anyway,
Anyway.
and then my last of the demos was the Kinect Sports demo. which had a racing, which is just run, which that sucked. And then bowling, which was really cool. The bowling aspect of it was
I've
really nice.
heard the sports game is really well done, and bowling in particular, they said it's fun.
And Summer and I played a couple rounds, and it was really cool. I had a lot of fun with those games. Kinect Sports might be one that I'm interested in going out and getting. The Joyride, probably not as much. Just because I got enough racing games, and I'd rather be able to sit down and play a racing game than standing, and it's all in the hips, because that's how you drift. But other than that,
let's talk about your Kinect. So you have Kinect now, and what do you think of it overall?
Overall, I like it a lot. I really wish I had more room in my living room, but
that's one of the problems.
We made that work, and it works perfect. And I mean, where I was at with the setup at first, I was about 6 feet away from the TV, which is the
least amount,
the very minimum. And I was finding I was having a little hard time with Kinect Adventures, but not too much. But when we move the couch out and it's just me in that space, or me and Summer and her friends or something, we have it picks up really good. There's times where I thought it wasn't picking me up, but I was just too close. And if I'm back far enough, it picks me up fine in the light, because I have not great lighting in my room.
That's good to hear, because that's been my problem with the camera always.
But I think it picks it up really well. When Summer ever plays friggin' Dance Central, she has one. You can laugh all you want. I'm not playing the game.
I know. I want to talk about that.
I don't know why you think I don't want to play the game.
You don't like the dance?
This is the main reason
but
why
I'll talk
I don't
about
want
this.
to.
Why's your issue with Dance Central? Because you like to dance. I don't like to dance.
No, I like to dance.
Yeah.
Not to shitty music. One. But two is
yes, you do.
No, wait. But I'm used to the whole Kinect and seeing the body movement.
Yeah.
The fact that it's all choreographed, and whatever you do doesn't do nothing with the guy that's on the screen. So it's essentially you're copying his moves the best you can.
Yeah.
And you've got your little screen that's in the right corner.
Yeah.
Along with all your movements.
Yeah.
The right of that screen for Dance Central is busier than shit. And I find myself like I would just stand there and just do whatever I wanted to do. And that's not part of the game.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't enjoy that
you don't
part
want,
of the game.
Okay, so you like to dance. I'm trying to get, this is like a little psychology with you. You like to dance, but you don't want to be told the dance moves. You don't like choreography.
If I'm watching it, I would assume that my movement would be shown on the screen as that guy.
Yeah, you want to see your avatar making the motions
as best as it could
and mimicking that.
But the problem would be is I would think I'm doing well, but all I see is red arms going and red legs, and it would just piss me off, and I'd be done with it. And
you're a freestyle dancer, is what you're saying.
Yeah, whatever. Like
you don't want
if they cut to that screen, man, I'm gonna break it down. Break it down.
Okay, now I understand. I just wanted some insight into the psychology of it.
But if I was
like your issue was,
if I was
like to dance.
If I loved like top 40 music, and I was like a chick that listened to music like the radio a lot.
What if it was
I would dig the music?
What if it
was
dancing to the soundtrack from DJ Hero?
Hell yeah!
See, that's what you want.
Yeah.
You don't want straight up Lady Gaga. You want remix Lady Gaga.
But then again, I want to be standing behind my Renegade DJ Hero setup and totally mixing it up, and then going to freestyle and go in front of it and dancing.
Okay.
I would put on a one-man show, man.
It sounds like it. That's why I was so confused when you're like, I don't want to dance. I'm like, what?
No. And it's
too organized for you.
I think it is.
It's too Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, I like to freestyle.
But not Craig. Craig wants Dance Central. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
You're into it?
Yeah. Well, I haven't played it, so.
But you want it?
Yeah. I would play it.
Are you looking at a Kinect? I mean, are you interested in a Kinect, or you just want it for Dance Central at this point?
Well, yeah. I mean, the only thing I would be interested in is Dance Central.
So it's not worth
$210 for Dance Central.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It comes
I'm
with
waiting
Adventures, though.
Down
it's like
the
more
road.
expensive than the Rock Band setup.
So exactly. Yeah.
And I like
it's not exactly what I'm looking for.
I like that they announced that Kinect is going to be Kinect with Netflix now too. They're offering that down the road. So.
Spring.
All of those little aspects and those little surprises that I've had this past week and a half have been nice. But it's kind of weird coming home from work where I'm usually that's what I do is get in front of the Xbox and someone's already got that spot.
All right, time to move on.
So no, yeah.
I hear you.
Some time
to
move on.
I have no interest in a Kinect at all, but now my wife is dropping little bombs all over the place.
Well, they can get it.
And I'm blaming you specifically.
She
I don't want it. I don't want to spend $150 on it. I find rewarding them for that machine is not good at this point because it's not doing anything that I care about.
Yeah.
So I buying it right now gives me no right to go.
Well,
make better games.
It's a catch-22
because I already bought it.
Why are they going to make better games if nobody's buying it?
Right, but they also have no reason to at this point because it's selling. So all you're doing is proving to them that you don't need any better games.
Oh, I doubt that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it from a business perspective.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a conversation I've had this week with others online, and so it's a lot more involved than I want to get into right now.
Oh, I understand that one. I enjoy it. I like it.
There you go.
I like the no hands aspect of it. That's fun. But
I'm sure I'll end up with one in my house.
I
worry.
don't see myself playing any more crazier games than like that sports or like the Kinect Adventures. The Kinect Adventures, I have so much fun with that game because there's a rally ball which is so fun, and you can play 2 players on that, and that gets pretty fun. I mean, there's some really neat aspects to that game.
Right.
I had some fun multiplayer with it. I just decided, I wanted to go and play some, and then it was just me and another guy, and we were playing the rally ball because he was in control. But then when we got done with it, and we killed, like the first round, we just killed it. And I stuck my hand up, and then he just, high five. It worked. I don't care. I still think it's cool. So
that's funny.
That is funny.
But incorporated in any kind of other game than that, I would have a problem with it.
Well, you'll be all excited for the Star Wars game that they announced this year, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that's on my list.
I'm sure it is. Great.
Well,
Spoiler.
Hey, it's a good renter. So, yeah.
Well, to get back to demos, I did check out the Dead Space 2 demo, and I'm not going to say a lot about it because otherwise Jeremy will actually dismiss.
You can say stuff. I don't care. Just to preface, I am super excited for Dead Space 2. Everybody knows we loved the first one. Most of us that played it. That's not Sean.
I'm the only one
and
of the trio.
But I'm on a media blackout.
Yeah.
A personally imposed one. I'm explaining to the listeners at home, Craig. I'm on a personally.
Wait, there are people listening?
Not many. I'm explaining to that dude. So I'm on a blackout, and I'm not paying attention because I want to be surprised.
Right. That's fair enough. Yeah,
but feel free to go in depth.
Listeners. I don't want to say a lot about it. I mean, a lot of it is just kind of giving you the idea of where it's going to be taking place.
Yes.
Kind of giving you the prologue aspects of the story
On the sprawl.
Yeah, on the sprawl. And also recapping the end of Dead Space 1, so that you understand what had happened.
You're going to talk, and I'm going to go home and fucking download
what
this
had
demo.
happened before.
That's what's going to happen.
And
damn it. I've done good. I gave myself 3 days at the beginning, and it's been like 3 weeks or 2 weeks.
That's true.
Sorry.
And most of it is kind of getting. You play a small chunk. It's not very story oriented. The small chunk is. Scared the pants off of me.
That's awesome.
More than one time.
That's cool.
I would argue to say that I think they managed to make Dead Space 2 scarier than the first Dead Space for me.
That's awesome.
Which is
Well, there's a lot of people that complain that the first one wasn't scary. Well, I know people complain about everything,
but I loved it. I absolutely loved it. They had, I think, 1 new weapon automatically equipped to you. You start off with like 4 weapons. One is, of course, the plasma cutter, which is what I gravitated to immediately. And so, you got to try out some of the new weaponry. You get to try out a little bit of the new anti-gravity, because before anti-gravity was you turn off an area, you could pull things through the air and you could jump to places. Now it's full free float.
Oh man!
So you don't, because I kept trying to jump to like a location. I'm like, I want to jump over there, and it's like, just kind of be floating. I'm like, shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so, and I think I never got back to Dead Space 1 to check to see, but I felt like the graphics were really, really good. Like it looked really amazing, which is awesome here, and it was really creepy.
I was wondering if I feel like I should play 1 before 2 comes out again, like replay it
to refresh.
But
yourself.
I don't know if I want to.
I don't know if there's that much story.
Not necessarily refresh, but like just to experience.
Get back into the atmosphere.
Yeah,
I think the second game will probably handle that.
Yeah, I
pretty
probably shouldn't
well.
worry about it.
I'm
going to jump right in.
Yeah.
All right.
So I guess they're coming out with a new animation or whatever. You can watch that instead.
No, that's all right. I saw the other one. I don't need to see anymore.
What? You can buy the downloadable game.
That sounds good.
Play that.
I heard that was great.
You guys are funny.
So I am very excited about Dead Space 2.
If they had more like
too.
space, the spacewalking stuff, like where you're out and and there's no sound.
That was almost creepy.
That shit was creepy. No, that's what creeped me out for the game. When
And
I
you would
played
like have a
that
guy
little-
behind you.
When I played that little bit, it's just like you don't hear nothing, and next thing you know, the controller starts vibrating. You turn and there's. I was like, okay, thanks.
But he's making no noise.
Yeah,
he's just sitting there, like freaking out.
You're like, oh right, I'm gonna try to kill this guy before anything else shows up.
I love
or
that
I
game.
float
Holy
out
shit.
into space.
Yeah.
It was our. I mean, it made us do a private chat, our first ever private chat.
That's right. There are a lot of surprises in the demo, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Shut up! I'm gonna go play it now. Damn it! I'm blaming you specifically.
Of course.
Is that it for demos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we disc games? Is that what we got?
Disc games.
That all that's left?
0 for me.
Oh, and 2011.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, 4 more hours of podcast. That's right.
Not from me. You're gonna get maybe 30 minutes out of mine. 2011.
Well, let
If
me.
that.
Do you want me to? I'll talk about mine real quick because I don't have that. I don't have much to say about them. They're games that we played previously. Both of them being NBA 2K11 and Castlevania. So NBA 2K11, I finally got some time to sit down with. I have a huge, embarrassing, ridiculous stack of missed games that I haven't played yet or like haven't finished.
Yeah.
My pile of shame is at least 10 discs high, and that's not counting XBLA, and it's really depressing. But I haven't even looked, let alone finished, looked at NBA 2K11. Finally put it in, and I felt like a moron. Like I didn't. I haven't played a basketball game before. I don't know much about basketball. The game looks fantastic, and I knew that going in, but I didn't know how I was going to do like playing wise. I'm like, oh, I'll just jump in, I'll do some training stuff, figure some stuff out, run through some things.
Yeah.
The game kicks off immediately by putting you into one of the Jordan challenges.
Yeah.
Like
Right
there's
off the
not
bat.
even menus.
Nope.
You start the game, it does like a little announcer thing, and you start the game, I'm like, what the shit? I'm like, I'm not anywhere near ready.
And
I'm
I
like,
think I
know
brought that up that first time we played.
I know what the basketball looks like, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Like I know what area I run to and throw it in the hole. So I exited out of that as fast as possible. Got to the menu, which I will say that I find the menus to be completely confusing.
Yeah.
There are a ton of options in there, and there's a bunch of different ways to play. And I found navigating around that menu and even changing some of your settings and the way that it saves those settings, and sometimes it doesn't. That stuff was really confusing to me. But once I got going, I played a couple games. I turned off all the rules because I know none of the rules. And I played.
Did you get any fourth downs?
What I wanted to do.
2 of them.
Yes.
Achievement.
But what I wanted to do was at least just figure out how to throw the ball around and like get a feel for how it played without having to worry about fouling and like slowing and stopping the gameplay. Mistake I made was also turning off out of bounds. So if a ball went out of bounds, everybody was just basically, you couldn't go out of bounds to get it. So everybody was just running in the corner, like into the people. And then eventually somebody would just reappear with the ball, like on the sideline. So that was ridiculous. But what I did then, I went a little deeper and I found that there was a little training mode that you could go in and it basically went through the different kinds of, you basically had a ball and you were just playing one person. And you were on the court, and it would give you like 40 different moves. And so you would manually move forward, and it would kind of tell you Street Fighter style, like what you needed to do this. And it was an awesome way to practice. I did that a little bit, went through all those different moves. Then I went in and did some of the Jordan challenges, which you can't turn off the rules for. And so that kind of forced me to play with the rules on and like kind of just learn that way.
Yeah.
And I started picking it up quite a bit as far as once I knew how to like basically move and shoot, pass and steal.
Yeah.
Like it started getting a lot more natural. And once you had those building blocks, I found that it was awesome. Like I kept playing game after game after game, and I really loved it. I was having a blast with it. I love the Jordan challenges because they have you set up where you have to do specific things with specific players. Well, with Jordan, scoring a certain amount of points, getting a certain amount of percentage, keeping other people to certain points, which I found to be a bitch.
Yeah.
That was really difficult. But also like getting steals or rebounds and things like that, and those were a ton of fun. And you play a whole game and try to get all those challenges met. And I think I finished out 4 or 5 of the challenges. There's 10 total, and I started even a season to play that, and I only played like 1 game though. But it was a ton of fun. The presentation is amazing.
It's
the announcers are fantastic.
Yep.
There was, I know you talked about, Sean, when you talked about the game, that there would be times where they're like in conversation and all of a sudden this like dunk happens and they're like, oh my God, and they're laughing. And it was so natural sounding.
Yep.
And it was even those times where it was the other team, because I wasn't doing anything cool, trust me.
I agree.
But it's the other team, they'll set up a fucking alley-oop where the guy like throws something up and the other guy just like slams it and everybody's like, holy shit. And I'm like, yeah, holy shit, this is awesome. Well, they don't say holy shit, but
It was like
I did.
It was
many
the one.
times.
It was like the one game that I've ever played that I didn't really get to. I got frustrated that I was losing and wasn't really catching on to it that well.
Yeah.
But it was so fun to watch. I just really liked the look.
Yes.
The look, the sounds, the announcers, like you said, I mean, everything. I think they screwed up once. I think they called Minneapolis Chicago once, and I was like, "Damn
Losers.
you suck, Gabe." Why did you talk when that guy dunked? I mean, that's what I thought was the best. Is like a guy dunks and they totally break conversation.
Right.
And they're talking about in-game stuff. Which
Yeah.
is it's amazing presentation, and it's like I said, I really loved getting my ass kicked during that game. Yeah,
Well, I got better, so
See,
I just had to put
I
it
did
on.
not.
I just made sure I put it on casual and like rookie,
Right.
And so everything was kind of just dumbed down.
Yeah.
And it was funny when I did it halfway through a game when I changed all those settings, and all of a sudden they couldn't hit anything because you can affect your
Yeah.
performance and then the AI's performance. So I put
okay.
all my shooting stuff up to like 100, and theirs all down to 0. And then they would show like guys miss, and they'd be like shaking their head, and I'm like, totally getting a voice, and we're like, well, they put me in retard mode, and I can't do anything. So it was awesome. I love the game. I don't know anything about
Cool.
basketball still, but it's a blast and it's fun.
yeah, it's beautiful.
And once it's really smooth, so I enjoyed it. And then the other game I played was Castlevania Lords of Shadow. I was about a third of the way through.
Yep.
I went through and pushed through on a weekend and finished the whole thing, and I loved it. I still have some problems with controls.
Yeah.
I still have some problems with some of the camera choices.
Yeah.
I think it takes art over ease of use for the player. In some instances where it's definitely more important to get the shot than to make it easy for you to play it.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah.
But once I got to you get to the level where you're going through the castle, and it kind of feels like when you see the map, it kind of feels like old school Castlevania, but like on this whole other level. And I loved it.
Yeah.
It was brilliant, and it should have been in one of my picks for Game of the Year in retrospect, because I wasn't super happy with the story in the end. Like the ending of the story, I was kind of like rolling my eyes and like whatever. I was kind of over the story at that point.
Yeah.
It was a lot more about the experience and the road getting there
Sure.
and doing all the stuff leading up to that. There were still some neat surprises. There was some awesome level design stuff that I loved. I've seen a lot of people complaining online. There's one in particular. It's not a spoiler because unless you play it, you don't know. But there's this music box level.
Yeah.
I loved that
It was
level.
really cool.
And I see a lot of people online complaining about that level, and I'm like, I loved it. Like it's just so like surprising and well done, and just neat. I thought. So I got to the end, and I was like kind of blah about the story, and then the credits roll, and then there's an epilogue that they show you, and it is so pants shittingly awesome that I can't even put it into words. Like I was like so whatever about the story, but that thing kicks in at the end, and that's where you can really tell like the Kojima like productions aspect of it, and the Metal Gear came through with that little kick at the end, and it was awesome.
That game really just yeah.
And they announced DLCs coming, and I want to play both of them.
Yeah, that's a game after the DLCs got announced and things like that. It's a purchase in my head.
Yeah.
I really had a lot of fun playing that game. A lot of fun. Camera angles were shit on it at times.
At times, yeah.
But it really.
But then it was also beautiful
Yep,
at times.
Yep.
And the score is amazing.
Yep.
So I'm very happy I finished it.
You got to revisit that game. I revisited Darksiders.
Oh, yes. That was what broke your Xbox.
That is what essentially, yeah.
That's what we're going to put it on.
And I found it really,
January of last year.
Yeah,
a year ago.
I love that game.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to get back in the reins or on the saddle because right off the bat,
I imagine.
right off the bat, I finally got the horse because I was like 2 things away from getting my what is his name, Ruin.
Yeah.
Ruin? Yeah.
You're 11 months removed from playing that game.
Yeah, and
That's quite a game to jump back in the middle.
trying to figure out again how to take down things and bust stuff and realizing, hey, I could have taken out the ice.
Yeah.
I'm looking for fire, but no, that was for the red ones. Okay,
Yeah.
So it took me a while to get back into it, but once I did, I absolutely just it was I love the ending. I thought it was fantastic. The ending, the end was just. I'm like, I want a sequel like right now.
I remember. Had you remembered me telling you about the ending? Because I spoiled it for you.
You did spoil it
Because you were like, I'm never going to finish it.
I did. You did spoil it, but it wasn't until like it was happening, and I'm like, because I like at the end.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad that you didn't think about it.
No, I didn't because at the end I'm like, this is not what I thought the ending was, and then I'm like, because I thought that this was gonna, and then all of a sudden I'm like, all right, awesome, you know.
See, I hate spoilers, but it was so awesome for me at the end that I had to tell you.
Yeah.
Because your broke Xbox, you couldn't play it.
And yeah, it was fun to return to that game and play it. I thought I only had a little bit more to go, and I had a lot more to go,
Yeah.
and it was fun. It was just awesome. But that was after I finished up Tron. Had to go out, had to play it, had to rent it. I dug this game.
Did you really?
I dug this
I hated
game. I might pick this one up.
What?
I honestly, if they drop the price on it a little bit, I might pick this up.
They will drop the price on it a little bit. It'll probably be $20 by like a month.
And I'm down.
You should go
because
for it then.
I really like the aspect. I loved how it bridged between the two movies. I did get to see the sequel, and I love the bridge between them. It answered some questions that were in the second one, which it should have. And I really like the aspect of it being a program sent in by Flynn to take care of everything. And that's essentially what you do. You go in there and you're taking care of everything. The one thing that stole the game for me, made me really... The camera sucks right now. I'll say it. I'll say it right now. The camera is terrible, and it took some getting... It almost like it was trying to be too good than it was. You'd make it to a section, and it would totally turn and jar you right off the bat. And it would cause for some jumping, some premature jumping here and there. But as the game went on, I really got used to it. But when I would get to a safe spot and I could enter the game grid at any time, I love that. And the fact that you can build up your leveling on the game grid and then come back.
Is that the multiplayer?
Yep.
Because I didn't do any of that.
And you can just access.
I got frustrated.
You can access the game grid. Bam! Now. And the game grid? I loved.
The multiplayer stuff was fun.
Loved the multiplayer.
It's real time access, so you just you jump in from your game and jump back out if you want to do multiplayer, which is really awesome.
And then your leveling levels up. It's just almost like Borderlands. You know,
or Dead Rising 2.
Or Dead Rising 2, where your level just continues through the whole entire game. So you can just play multiplayer and then go into the game, I'd assume.
Like a god.
Like a god, exactly, yeah. I really loved the level layout. I dug the light cycles. I wish they were more in the game than just in the multiplayer. Because I had some great moments in multiplayer where I'd be on a light cycle flying and I'm hitting this other guy on a light cycle with my disc and I hit a jump and I was button pushing, but I screwed up and I hit my light cycle gone. So I'm in the air and I'm hammering him because you can even hit him more faster. Yeah. And then as I'm going to the ground, I switched back to my light cycle and I was gone. And it was those little aspects throughout the whole entire game, and the fact that I could access that at any point, and I'm like, oh, I could level up and I want to get this so I can have that for my in-game thing. It really blew up the game for me in that aspect.
You didn't have any problems with the platforming aspects? Because there was some points where I had this jump problem, and that's when I quit.
There was some, but when I stopped to overthink it, I think I was having a little bit, like when I was trying too hard to get the
You were trying to control it too much. That was my problem, exactly.
Yeah, and I found it to be a lot smoother if you just kind of let it work for you. I just hated when the camera would switch. You'd jump to a section that you were taking so long to jump to begin with, and once you got there, it would switch. So I'm like, am I falling? So I'd jump again, and then I would be falling.
Yeah.
But
that's kind of a Castlevania problem where they would change the cameras on you.
Yep. And I have a feeling maybe that's probably why Tron really kind of attached to me a little bit, because I really got used to Castlevania the more I played.
And that was another one where it required you to do less. Like the system would automatically jump you in certain areas. A little bit, you didn't have to use the joystick control or point in a direction. And I was overdoing it because I was also trying to do the direction.
Yep.
And I think that was my same problem with Tron.
I had the biggest problem was the vaults, where you would jump over these little. You would vault yourself over. And you would be going through the motion, but then you would just go over the other side of it. So I'm thinking, oh, I don't have to push, and then he would just fall.
He'd fall.
Yeah. But other than that,
checkpoints are pretty handy though.
And I thought
I noticed.
I thought that was really good, because there were some parts where I was just flat out pissed off at the game and I was ready to quit, and then I die, and then I was like right where I died, and I'm like, okay, never mind.
Well, the problem for me is it just kept putting me. The checkpoint was at the point that I couldn't get past 15 times in a row, and I was like, "Yep, done. Thanks for playing."
But other than like the main story, the campaign is good. Like we've been talking about.
Did you finish it?
Yeah.
Wow.
The camera is ass, but the campaign. It's cool. The story's good. It keeps it moving. It keeps you motivated, especially if you see the movies. It really works. There's more action in the game than either of the movies. But I really, really got a kick out of it. Multiplayer won me over. I wish there was more. I wish there was more levels. Because there was you could play as a team, and then there was times that you would have the tanks are always out in the open. Yeah. So guys would get the tanks, and everyone's like bitching because the tanks are more powerful. No, because you just hammer on the tanks and keep going around the guy, and he can't even see or
so when you went into multiplayer, were you just in this open space?
Yeah,
and it was real time, and you're running around with other people.
What happened was, I went into my first time I went into a game with 2 other people. The other time I went in, it was me and all bots. So
okay.
and then the next time the cycle went through, the next thing you know, you almost made your own game, and then people started joining.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. Playing the team ones were fun. but those open, especially the light cycles, and you get close to 4 light cycles going at a time. There was some crazy stuff happening, and and then when I finally saw the movie and got to see some of the action that happened in that, a lot of the multiplayer stuff is like almost movie like. It's crazy. It's crazy how the two things coincide together.
I'm glad that you have the other side. I'm glad you played it because you're representing obviously a different side than I had on it last episode.
It's not the best game, but it's.
Right.
I really liked it.
So game of the year for you?
No,
Game of the decade?
no. But I love the look. I love the story, and upon seeing Legacy, it just kind of opened up everything to it. But yeah, I really loved it. I liked it. I mean, should say the multiplayer
really loved it.
The multiplayer is what's won me over,
which is odd because it's usually the opposite. You don't pay attention to the multiplayer. So.
Yep. Which was crazy. I think
except for a red faction.
Well, except for red faction.
We could. What
Did you ever finish that campaign?
No, I don't think. I think I made it out of dust or into dust or whatever.
It's all a story,
whatever.
so that's okay.
Or whatever. Any other games?
No.
That's it?
That'd be it. I had Kinect Adventures, but I kind of
like you're surprised.
I already touched base on that.
So should we talk about some 2011?
No.
Games that we're looking forward to?
Hells.
And maybe review real quick how we did for our 2010 picks. Do you guys remember? Have you listened?
No.
Have you gone back and listened like I did?
Well, I know I picked that sandbox 60s motorcycle gang.
Ride to Hell.
Ride to
Is
Hell.
that what you picked?
Yeah.
I don't think the website's changed since you picked
Probably
that.
not.
So that is still up in the air. But Sean, your other picks, you had Castlevania Lord of Shadows, which I think I was naysaying like a son bitch.
Yeah, you were.
And if you go back 20 minutes ago, you'll see how I was eating crow on that, right? But you also mentioned Splatterhouse, which you didn't play, did you?
No, I did not.
Loser. You were also looking forward to, you and Craig both, Aliens vs. Predator.
Yep.
Crackdown 2, which you called the release date. I went back and listened to it.
Was it October
19th. I
Wow.
think.
Yeah.
Weren't we making fun of him for being like way off or something?
Something like that. Well, it was, what did it end up coming out? July.
Because that's when.
Oh, I
it
thought you were
was-
saying
he
he
was
actually
early.
nailed it.
Oh, no.
No.
When you said he called it.
He called it. He was wrong.
I was like, I don't know. I picked the latest date that I
Rock
could think
Band
of.
3 was one of yours.
Yeah, I never played that.
And Comic Jumper was all three of us had
Hell
Comic
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Jumper.
definitely.
We did awesome last year compared to this year.
Was
Or
Prison
the
Break
year
like
before.
over a year ago?
No, it was then, but he was joking. That was his joke pick.
I know, but I just always find it ironic that Sean
He
was the
never
one
played
who
it?
talked about Prison Break on our show, and he's the only one who didn't play it.
My picks.
It's all about tattoos, man.
My picks were Alpha Protocol, which is funny considering I hardly played the game, and Craig, you liked it.
I love
and you
that
played
game.
it.
Yeah.
Fallout.
I got called out for not mentioning that on the best of. I probably should have remembered
Loser.
it as really good, but apparently it slipped my mind. It wasn't that good.
You
No,
got called out.
I did.
Called to the floor. Fallout New Vegas was mine, which I bought and have put
still
like 2
haven't
hours into it
played
because I'm an
much
idiot.
of.
I cannot get into that game. Mass Effect 2, duh.
Yeah, yeah.
Bioshock 2, Mega Man 10, which I never even bought. I suck. Comic Jumper, Alan Wake, and Red Dead Redemption.
Yep.
Which Red Dead was a pick of yours as well, Craig.
Yeah.
You were excited for. What happened with that game in you? Why do you hate that
I
game
don't know.
so much?
Go listen to the Red Dead show. I'm sure I explained it to you.
No, you're silent because you won't talk about it
proficiently.
because you say that it sucks or something.
Oh Lord.
I take your non-playing of Red Dead
OMG,
extremely
shut
personal.
up.
Craig, your picks were Skate 3.
Which I didn't play.
Look at how we suck. Dead Rising 2.
Yeah.
Army of 2, the follow-up.
Yeah.
Dark Void.
Yeah. I already mentioned how that one, we talked about disappointments. But I actually enjoyed
That's
that
true. You
mostly.
did like it.
I enjoyed that one.
You defended the hell out of it.
Yeah.
when we were tearing it apart.
You were too harsh.
Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah. That was okay.
Well, it's
And-
just beautiful, though.
It's very.
We mentioned it already, but earlier in the show, I mentioned it, and
Yeah.
I can't help
It's got
it.
it's got its good points.
And
beautiful.
Interstellar Marines.
No, which it didn't
With
come
those
out.
land sharks.
Hell yeah.
Which I don't think has moved forward
Probably
since
not,
we'd
yeah.
looked at it then
That
either.
was some shit, man.
But the website still exists, so
Oh, that's
it's
good.
still in existence.
That's good.
So we didn't do so bad because I remember like our 2009 list was horrendous when I went back and looked at it last year. So I'm okay with how we did.
That's good. You can sleep at night now.
I'm okay. I'm all right. But more importantly, 2011.
Yes.
I have a handful of things I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys do too.
Oh, yeah.
I got a list of things. Of course, I've got sequels, but
Me
you know,
too.
I've got
That's
a list
most of
of
mine.
new stuff that I'm looking forward to.
I'm interested to hear those because I don't have as many of those.
Yeah, well, I mean, some are spin-offs of games, but yeah, a lot of downloadable stuff. As I keep mentioning, this 2010 was great for downloadable content.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward to a lot of it in
It's
2011.
become so strong.
Yeah. I think people really understand that you can do things with it, and buyers are more willing to buy. Probably has an influence on that as well.
Yes, agree. All right, well, do you guys want me to start?
Sure.
All right, I'll pick one, and that is Dead Space 2.
Yeah.
There's really nothing else to say about
That's
it.
a few weeks, right?
Yeah, it's the end of this month.
Yeah.
I am super excited for Dead Space 2.
Yep.
I am so excited.
That's probably gonna be my first disc purchase of this year.
Me too.
I would guess.
I don't see any reason why I wouldn't buy it.
No.
I probably won't.
It's my new Resident Evil.
You're not gonna get.
I used to buy Resident Evil games, go home, wait until night, turn off all the lights, and play them in the dark.
Sean, you're not going
See,
to
I was a lot different. I would get shit hammered and have my friend try to tell me how to fight the snake. I wish we were able to videotape some of those occurrences. Where back in my drinking days, I used to drink like heavily and play video games. And Resident Evil is not the one to play. And my character would be like against a wall, just walking.
Well, me too, but I'd been falling asleep.
Yeah,
that was my issue.
That wasn't mine. It's like, hey, Sean, you already went that way.
Well, you
So
better,
I always needed a navigator.
you
then.
better rent it so you can sit in on our private chat. Dead Space 2.
I'll definitely sit in. There's a couch in the studio.
There is.
taking a nap back
You're
there.
going to lounge out. All right, what else we got? Anybody?
I've got
go round.
also coming out later this month, Dungeon Defenders from XBLA. Which is a 4-person multiplayer dungeon crawler, which looks really fun. It's got a fun sort of cartoony art style to it, and the different types of characters and there's skill building, right? Do you know?
I believe so.
Yeah, I believe there's skill building and it's so just kind of that dungeon crawling aspect.
this
and
month
doing
it's supposed to come out?
It's supposed to come out the end of the month.
Okay.
The 31st, I believe.
I know they announced that next promotion
least the one
they're
that I
doing
looked
from
at.
XBLA, and I don't think that's in it.
Probably not.
And that's like for 5 weeks or something. It's crazy.
Wow, 5.
Yeah,
Jeez.
just a lot of stuff going on with that one.
But I'm really looking forward to that one. Hopefully, getting some friends. I'm sure there's going to be some friends.
gonna
People,
play.
people
I
on
wrote
my
that.
friends
I wrote
list that
that
are going
one
to be
down.
getting
That's
that.
the first of my
Yeah.
XBLA. So.
Look, if Sean's got it, then
It's
you're
gonna
in.
it's gonna be like sword and sorcery Borderlands.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking in some ways. Although what I hear is that it's kind of got a tower defensey aspect to it as well,
Okay.
mixed in there, and so I'm really intrigued to see how that plays out because all the gameplay stuff that I've seen is really hands-on slashing and that sort of thing.
Awesome.
One, as I was looking up some of the things for 2011, I didn't know it was coming out. It's like coming out this week. You don't know Jack.
Well, I'm really looking forward to that game
Hells
a lot.
yes.
'Cause
I've played
loved-
the crap out of it. So much.
Yeah, the PC games.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I think I had
about
one for
it.
PS2 too.
Yeah. there was
Yep.
one. I've seen conflicting dates though.
Yeah.
Just so you know, like a couple
Yeah.
months ago they had like the beginning of January, and now I've seen the end. But now I've even seen like the first week of February.
Okay.
So I don't know the exact hardline date of it, but it's
Right.
coming.
I'm looking forward to it, especially if they have. I'd assume you're going to do multiplayer on it.
Oh, yeah.
but
I'm buying it.
Yeah, I love that
I
game.
want to play some shit on live.
Hell yeah,
That'd be cool.
Hell yeah, and
I would
they,
definitely play that on live. Yeah.
they showed some of the you win prizes and things like that, and there's like this bald head cap, and it actually looked like bald head. I mean, that's the aspect of the game that I can't wait for. Just the dialogue, everything.
I thought
goes
you were
with
saying the
franchise.
aspect you can't wait for is the Avatar Awards.
Well, that too.
too.
If they have
That's what he
Avatar
means.
awards, man, you know me.
That's awesome.
You know me.
All
What you
right,
got, Jeremy?
I'm gonna go with another easy one, and that's the Batman follow-up.
Batman Arkham City. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That should be coming out
my.
close to my birthday.
Yeah, let's see. Is it this
It's going to be around September.
September?
Right? Yeah.
Fall
Yeah.
release. Yeah, I'm super excited, and the stuff that they've released for it so far is just stupid looking, and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trailers that I've seen like with Hugo Strange and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's another just. I'm looking forward to the game. To be honest with you, I'll be the one guy out there that says if they just put a new skin on the old one, I'll be happy. But
Exactly.
part of me,
We had that conversation, right?
I'm agreed. I can't say I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I really, if they just open the scope a little bit. I mean, I've got just playing Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. With that city in my head and jumping around, I'm not saying that's going to be the same exact thing, but they have the technology and they can do it.
I saw some stuff
been
about
done.
them. I saw some stuff about them. Like this time around, you're going to have all your gadgets up front.
Yeah, I
and
think you do. Start
So then,
with
as the game goes through, you'll like get better. They'll like upgrade, but you'll start with everything at
And
the
that's
beginning, which is
awesome.
awesome because I don't know if I want to go from a borderline sequel. I mean, it's pretty much following up, I think, from the
Right.
first game,
Right.
where you all of a sudden lose all your items again. Which
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
be
that would be weird. I mean,
don't
it made
need
sense
that.
going into Arkham Asylum, maybe
Not having your stuff.
Yeah, I don't need to bring my gadgets. in
Exactly.
here. Yeah. So,
But
but,
I kinda like-
roving around the city.
If you're around the city, you should have enough places where Batman stops and
Yeah.
grabs stuff. He's got safe houses. He's,
Safe houses.
You know, pigeon coops. I mean, you know, I know bats.
You're making up words.
and I just think of the
Pigeon
stuff.
coop? You ever been in a pigeon coop?
I know where pigeons live as a pigeon coop. Are you saying a safe house would be in a pigeon coop?
He takes a pigeon coop and then you open the door to it and then it's a safe house.
Oh, okay.
You go in.
You
a
were being
little-
literal. I thought this was some slang term that I didn't understand.
That's the street term, Craig.
You know, the pigeon coop. That's where he keeps his ladies. You
know.
ladies swarm.
Street name.
Oh Christ!
Oh goodness. I've got something that is not exactly a sequel, but more of a spin-off, also for XBLA. Red Faction Battlegrounds, which is going to be taking the destructible chaos of Red Faction and basing it around essentially like Twisted Metal. So you're driving cars, tanks, and mechs and blowing shit up.
Nice.
I'm interested.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I like the idea. I get worried about those DLC tie-ins. Like, well, like for instance, with the Dead Space one, which they can go one way or the other.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I worry about it. So I remain skeptic.
But I've seen lots of gameplay for this.
See, I
one,
haven't looked at
and
any
it looks,
gameplay.
and it looks chaotic and awesome.
Cool.
And so, and
I want it to be
I'm
good,
not
of
entirely
course.
sure. I don't think it's just like a deathmatch where everyone's fighting. I think there might be things where there are bots and enemies that you're maybe working together to
goal.
attack, because there seem to be too many enemies in the screen, unless they're doing like huge, massive multiplayer things
Right,
or
right.
whatever. But
Who knows?
but yeah, it's going to be silly fun and just blowing shit up and walking around in mechs and laughing at things as I accidentally blow myself up. So
Word.
good stuff there.
Next BLA that jumped out at me was Days of Thunder Arcade.
What?
I don't know why.
I know why.
Well, it's a racing game, but
Plus, you love Tom Cruise.
I love Days of Thunder. Get out of the car, Cole. Get out of the car. I
I don't know
am.
what he's talking about.
That's my Nicole Kidman. It's not
Ah,
the
It
best.
was really
okay.
good.
Okay.
It's not the best,
Gotcha.
but it's close. Oh, it's Let Me Out of the Car. Let Me Out of the Car. Anyway, looking forward to that one. Just the whole NASCAR arcade multiplayer. Throw some shit in there. I'm looking forward to it.
We'll see.
You know, whatever. We'll see what. That one not coming out either.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with an XBLA since you guys are doing them all now,
Okay.
and that's stacking.
Oh, how did that not make it on my list? I
Stacking?
don't think it was listed
I'm
on the thing I was
smarter.
looking at.
Isn't that what gangsters do?
No,
Gang
it's
guys?
Double Fine's
It's the Double
next
Fine game.
XBLA game. I don't know.
It wasn't on the list. I think we were.
I am super excited for it. I think it's cute as shit.
Oh yeah.
And I can't wait to play it.
I talked.
It's all with
I
those
talked about the
nesting dolls.
cameo in the
Yes.
Costume Quest DLC.
DLC. I love the idea and the style,
Yeah.
and I think I have faith in them of making an entertaining experience, and I really think that they're really at home.
Oh, yeah.
in the downloadable market.
Me too.
Uh,
I'm glad to see a developer like that in the
So am
downloadable
I.
game market, because they definitely have lots of great things to bring to.
and they have
downloadable
great
games.
ideas that work in that environment. You know, as much as I kind of bagged on Brutal Legend, I think I would have liked. It just went in a different direction. I almost worried at the time that the game was almost too big and too much for them to handle. And so I think I like the more smaller focus, and it's just more pinpoint. And the experience overall, I think, is going to be awesome. I look forward to everything they're doing.
Yeah, that should have been on my list. I
I was going to try and steal it from you by saying
did,
it. I
technically.
totally did.
Something that I didn't know about until I was kind of looking for games for 2011. Another XBLA game, Spare Parts. And so this is an adventure platforming game built around these two robots that crash land on this planet, and so they're running around. So it had some slight tinges of like the Maw in terms
sure.
of like the feel for the game overall. But what's kind of got me excited is that it's also got this really swell co-op element, and I saw some gameplay things from like developer diaries, and the way that you were working together in co-op really reminded me of like the Lego games, and how you can
Awesome.
work together in those games when you have more than one player in there.
Yeah.
And so that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
And it looks charming and looks kid friendly as well. And so I'm looking forward to that.
I have not heard anything about it.
Yeah,
There's a lot of those XBLA games that you just don't hear about, or there's things like Raskulls where you hear about it and then it doesn't come out for 11 months. You know what I mean, though? And one of the other ones that we had from last episode that was one of the write-ins from somebody was that Lead and Gold game
Oh yeah.
that never came out
Yeah.
on XBLA.
Yeah.
Well, it was going to come out,
And it was going
but
to.
then they canceled it.
Yep,
yeah.
and then it never did. So that was kind of a bummer.
Well, yeah. Well, I hear like from what I understood, they were canceling it because it just wasn't quite working in the way that it was supposed to.
So I should not take it personal.
Right.
Well, I wish I would have known that a while ago.
With me getting a Kinect or it being in the house now, I had
You
to
got
look,
it.
Dance Central 2.
I had to look at some of that stuff. And Child of Eden, which was one I was looking at from what was it, E3 last year? They were kind of showing that. That had got me looking then, and now I'm really looking now. So I'm looking forward to that one coming out, and then of course the Star Wars game. I want to try that one out definitely.
Star Wars.
But and this is what I don't like about Kinect games is that our video store gets one copy each, and they're never there ever. The animal Connectimals or whatever is always there, but nothing else is ever there.
You should have played the shit out of that game by now, is what I'm hearing.
Well, I don't want to wrestle around with a tiger. That's not
That
real.
sounds awesome.
That's not real. But
there's really only one that's worth playing, so why you worry about it anyway?
with the Child of Eden.
No, the
The Kinect
sports.
games. Yeah, exactly.
Everything else is
Dance
ass.
Central?
But
He has that.
the Kinect Child of Eden, I'll be looking forward to that. That might be a purchase. I like to rent these games before I even do anything, but we'll see.
Did you
And
ever
same
play
with the
Rez?
Star Wars.
Did you ever play Rez?
No.
The XBL. Well, it's an old
Yeah,
PS2 game.
yeah,
But, you should look at it on XBLA
but
because that's his next game and it looks awesome.
so I mean, it just it kind of blew me away. The whole the music and then the graphics and being in control of the controller and taking on those. It's like a twin stick shooter, but I'm the one twin stick shooting.
What I heard is
Get the 6 guns out.
what I heard is you are the controller.
I heard that too. So we'll see what happens.
So we'll see how that holds up.
I always try to reach for the TV, but it never works out. It loses me by the time I get to it.
Reach through it.
Like, no.
All right, here's one that goes back a little bit to what Craig was saying last time, and that would be Red Faction Armageddon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are
you still apprehensive about
I
it?
am totally apprehensive about it because of the location.
Yeah.
And that's still my same concern that I've had since E3 or whenever. And that's with it being a lot of underground time and losing some of that structure or building structures potentially. But I'm really looking forward to it, obviously. I have faith in what they're going to do with the game and the gameplay style. And I think that Guerrilla really set them up for a type of game. And if they can build on top of that, it's only going to be better.
One thing that I'm kind of looking forward to is maybe them building back into actual environment, not buildings, but environment destruction, which is what the staple was for the original games, which you would blow a hole in the wall and you could hide in it and wait for somebody to run by or something.
And that's
like
kind of
that.
what it looks like from what they've shown so far, by being able to do that, and then you get to repair right away or reconstructor right away, so you can blow a hole in something, go in, reconstruct
wait
it.
for somebody to blow a hole, jump in there, and then me reconstruct on top of them. Enjoy your stone tomb.
So yeah, I mean, I remain hopeful for it, definitely. And that's May. So
Yeah.
Another spin-off, so you're probably going to crap on it. It's Ghostbusters Sanctum of Slime.
crap. It's the XBLA, right?
Yeah,
the
it's
XBLA.
XBLA.
I think that's I think it's a good move for them to go that route.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it looks like it's going to just be a lot of fun just running around multiplayer, and it's very colorful and all that. And so yeah.
It's a good format. I mean, for them
think
to
so,
do
too.
instead of trying to do another disc release.
Yeah, I think so too. That's all I have to say about it. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it.
play some multiplayer with you guys.
Hell yeah.
But not really.
When we
crossing streams jokes 24/7.
We had one right before this show. What? XBLA Russian Attack.
Yes.
Expatriates.
You are looking forward to that.
That will probably be. That's
going
going to be right up there.
Because it's getting all bionic command or
Rearmed.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
getting all rearmed.
And I love the look. It had a very, very Shadow Complex look to me because I finally tracked. You've been telling me about the gameplay trailers for ever, so I finally tracked him down and was looking at him, and yeah, I love the look. I'm pumped for it. I'm pumped for it.
I think that's coming soon. I think it's in the first quarter of
Yeah,
this
I
year.
think so. Yeah, it was earlier release. That's what even made me happier. So yay, happy.
It's another one I feel like they've been talking about for a long time. So, all right, on my list, here's another easy Mass Effect 3.
Oh yeah,
Seriously.
Yeah.
if it
Have you
makes
guys
it, because aren't they saying like end of year?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
so-
that's my concern with some of these games that
That's
are
fine.
aimed at fall. You never know how they're going to slip. I could totally see something like Mass Effect slipping until, like they did with 2, and slipping to
understandably so,
January
yeah.
to like try and get away from everything.
Well,
Or
yeah.
even if they need the
Yeah.
time. Have you guys seen the trailer yet for it?
No.
Did you ever see it?
I can't remember if I did.
Where it's like showing this big battle, and then it's like,
oh yeah, I did.
and the
see
guy's
it.
like, I hope
did see
Shepard
it.
makes it. And
I
it
did
like
see it.
scans out, and it's all on Earth.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck? That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be good.
And he's totally heading towards Earth.
Yeah,
And I'm like, this is great. I can't wait.
yeah, definitely.
I got a boner. I just thought I'd throw that in.
Good old boner inducing.
So funny.
Speaking of things that are hard, XBLA game Rock of
It's
Ages.
not that hard.
Rock of Ages.
Have you guys heard of Rock of Ages?
God, no.
Basically, this is what I understand of the game, and I delightfully keep it at a minimum because it's hilarious. You're basically this big boulder, this round boulder with like a face on it, and so you're rolling around just destroying shit, like historical monuments and things like that.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, and so
Like all Katamari
and so
like?
yeah, and it's all physics based, kind of Marble Madnessy too.
Okay.
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, but yeah, a little bit of Katamari as well. And you're just your goal is to not get killed by the things that are trying to defend the shit that you're trying to break. Is what I understand it doing, and it looks like it's that totally out there sort of goofy idea because I'm guessing the Rock has sentience or something like that with its goofy. It's got like this goofy grin on it. It's like I'm rolling. So yeah, I've seen some gameplay trailers for it, and it looks like it's going to be hilarious and fun. And
Cool.
I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, Rock.
I like hearing about these things I
Rock
don't know
of
about.
Ages.
One
I
for
don't pay
me,
attention.
and we'll see. Because the more,
We'll
and more
see.
the more and more it gets further,
These are my
like
favorite.
it gets further away from me, the more I get like apprehensive of
You're
it.
fucking
But
up your
Gears,
batting average.
Gears 3.
Oh, why are you getting apprehensive?
I just don't know what to do anymore. Because
are
I
you
mean
talking
they
about?
pushed it back, which you assume they're going to do it anyway. They were going to push it back anyway. Any release date for Gears of War never works out. Period.
But the reasoning for this even push, is suspect. I think they're pushing it because they want a big title for the fall.
Yeah.
So I think that there was probably some deal made of, look, let's move it back to here so we can like market the shit out of it because there's no big Microsoft release at that time.
Sure.
So
Aren't they offering some beta or something like that?
yeah, through
With
Bulletstorm.
Bulletstorm, yeah.
limited edition, which fuck.
Come on, that game will scare the dick off you, man. That's what I heard.
Dick off it.
That's hilarious.
No,
They got Rick Remender to do all the awesome dialogue in that game. That a 13-year-old could have wrote.
He
apparently.
does. He does.
The gameplay for that looks awesome. I know I'm totally getting
For
off now. We're on
Bulletstorm,
Bulletstorm. It looks like it's going to be a
Yeah.
fucking blast.
Yeah.
But I am so worried about that.
The
like,
dialogue.
I just want to turn off the dialogue.
I think it's supposed to be over
I
the
know
top
it
because
is.
it's the game right off the bat is over the top.
I know. Anyway, so Gears 3.
and I'm probably all signs point to me trying to hunt down that limited edition and get into beta.
I don't think it's going to be a problem. I mean, didn't they announce that as long
I'm
as you
not saying
pre-order
that-
it by
I'm
like
saying
this
hunt down
date,
is
all
like-
of them are going to be...
I'm gonna have to kill people to get it.
No,
because
I
I'm gonna
don't
have to
think
steal
so.
money from them.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So I gotta hunt. For it.
Gears 3 though is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I love the whole like way that they're doing the horde mode and like building upon that and making it the Left 4 Dead like versus where you can
Yeah.
be the bad guys. That shit is going to be awesome. I'm ready to turn 180 degrees on Gears.
We'll see.
But again, I can't forget that I loved the campaign of Gears 2.
Right.
2 was fantastic.
So 3's
Multiplayer
gonna
wasn't
have
that
that.
great, but yeah.
3's going to have that, and I'll worry about the multiplayer secondary.
Yep.
Right.
Because it was
Word.
still an awesome experience.
Yep. I
So.
agree. It's Gears 3 will hit that and Crackdown will always be in my heart for my Xbox games. Those were the games that got me to buy
I
an
hear ya.
Xbox.
Right,
Those
right.
2 games. It done.
And the show keeps you playing Xbox.
I guess.
The listeners.
There you
The
go.
tears of the listeners.
That's a lot better.
Drive Sean.
A
I'm
few
a,
Shombies out there.
no, Sean Bees does not need to come back. It's been a year away, and we don't need Sean Bees
The
returning.
whole year.
It has been. I completely forgot about it. All right, I got another XBLA, and that is Mrs. Explosion Man.
Yep.
Ms. Explosion.
Ms. Explosion Man, sorry. Which everybody knows our love for Twisted Pixel
Yeah.
and everything that they touch
Yep.
in one form or another. And I am super excited for that game.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and Explosion Man was one of the best platformers to come out in the last 10 years, probably. And if they're building on that, there's no way they can go wrong, in my opinion.
I'm really excited about that one too. It's gonna be good.
It's great.
Yep. Also DLC that originally wasn't supposed to come to the XBLA. It was supposed to go to Wii, but now it's not going to be going to Wii, I think, and is coming to XBLA. Retro City Rampage.
Yeah.
Have you heard about
No.
this?
I wrote that one down too.
It's
You guys.
it's
Hells
basically like old school
GTA.
It starts off like that.
Oh, like top down?
yeah.
But then it kind of goes off into like this nerdgasm of retro games, things like references to Zelda, Contra, all Back to the Future, all sorts of
Yeah.
crazy old school retro shit
Wow.
being thrown in there. And
from the screens that I've seen, it looks like it's over the top, like GTA.
Yeah, it is.
But you're like a little person too, and you
can
he's
hop
running
out,
around
yeah.
shooting, or you can take a car and run people over and stuff like that.
should
It
wa-
looks insane.
Have you watched the videos?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
And the music's awesome. It's,
Yeah.
I hope all this shit comes out that you guys are talking about because I'm excited. I'm gonna go look this stuff up now.
Yeah. The Retro City Rampage. That one caught my eye too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
You got anything else, Sean?
I got X-Men Dynasty or
Oh,
Destiny.
Dynasty.
Dynasty. That would be a good one.
Who shot JR?
Yeah, they're all in the oil
Cyclops.
fills. And
Is
it's
that
awesome.
coming out on 360?
What? Well, let's rewind and not do that again.
I
thought it was.
It might be. I
It's
don't
listed.
know.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
listed for it.
There you go.
Yeah, because
Awesome.
I thought because they're comparing it, like to the Spider-Man games or the Batman games. I just think it's too big of a picture. It works when you have Spider-Man, Batman. When you have X-Men,
There's too many people.
Becomes too big of a picture and becomes too crazy.
Wait, this isn't the one where you make your X-Men?
No,
That one's PS3, right?
Yeah.
That's one I was thinking of. I
No.
don't remember what that one's called. Anyway, where you it's an RPG.
Yeah, it's
where
an
you make
RPG.
your own X-Men.
Yeah.
X-Men, choose your own gene.
X-Men, fucking awesome. I think is what it's
That
called.
would be awesome. My guy would just sweat a
I'll
lot.
see how it plays. Super Zeros. That's what I'll make it. Anyway,
Zeros.
so Destiny. No, I don't know. I think I avoided it because I thought it was the other one.
Yeah,
So
because
was confused.
in the sense they were comparing it to Arkham Asylum, or they were or Arkham, or they were comparing it to like Shadows, whatever that Spider-Man.
Spider-Man,
that
the
just
last one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Shattered Dimensions.
Shattered Dimensions. Dimensions.
You know what? That would
That was
almost
Web of Shadows.
that would almost work if they had like 4 X-Men that you bounced around
Yeah.
between like the different
Yeah.
Spider-Mans. That would be kind of
There,
cool.
there wasn't that much information on it, just a kind of a tentative date, which was, of course, January 31st,
Right.
2011. So
Oh, so it might not even.
it might not
Gotcha.
even come out, but that one was one of my. Let's see if it happens.
Yeah.
But I'd like to
January, December 31st.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
December.
that's what I thought.
That's all right.
Both
I was
of
just,
them.
I was just checking.
All of them.
Gotcha.
13.
All right. I've only got one more on my list.
What?
And that is LA Noire.
Yes.
Despite the thoroughly creepy faces, I'm looking forward to LA Noire.
I would say because of that shit looks amazing.
disturbing.
It
But I really like the idea that you're using facial movements to do things like tell if somebody's lying.
Yeah.
and I think it's a further. I mean, Rockstar has completely like proven to me time and time again that they know what they're doing with the story too.
Sure.
And when I think that they've kind of topped out where they can go, and I kind of get, I don't know, maybe just put off by their attitude of we're telling a very important story here, and,
Yeah.
and thinking that it's smarter than it is, like with Grand Theft Auto 4, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Then something like Red Dead comes out, and I'm
Yep.
like, oh yeah, you guys are awesome. I can't fault you for any of that. And so this just looks like an unbelievable evolution, and I hope that it's awesome and that it comes out on time. I
Plus, I'm
worry
happy
about
that.
that.
You're a good guy.
Yeah, I like that too. It's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a really good guy in Red Dead though too.
No, yeah,
Can be.
you are. You are.
You can be.
No,
you
you
can't
pretty
be.
much are. Yeah.
I would argue that it's hard to not be,
I'd kill a lot of people.
but you never cheat on your
frontier
wife.
justice.
Hell no.
You can't cheat on your wife.
It's stupid.
It just
That's
looks
all they
like.
did in the Old West.
But LA Noire just
all they did.
I don't know.
That's
LA
awesome.
Noire and get STDs
and
apparently.
rode horses.
LA Noire just looks like a complete evolution of like technology,
Yeah.
obviously
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So I think they're blazing trails at that point, and really hope that they can keep on schedule
Yeah.
and come out. I'm looking forward to it hard.
Portal 2.
Yes. I do have apprehensions about the game being
Really?
a full release just based on Portal. So I'm interested to
Yeah.
see. But I mean, there was no excuse that Portal was awesome.
What if?
I'm sorry. Nothing.
okay?
Yeah, my brain just all of a sudden was like, the portal aspects of Darksiders was fantastic, and I forgot to mention it. But anyway, we won't talk about that. But that was awesome about that game.
Yeah.
That stole from there too.
Yeah.
But it was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely loved Portal,
Yes.
both in terms of gameplay, but also and puzzles, but also in terms of storytelling and charm and humor. And so, very looking forward to seeing what they can do with the sequel.
And it's not like, if Valve doesn't, deserve the respect of
Right.
like having faith in them doing it anyway,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, they don't just rush things out the door,
Right.
So they're going to put work into it, and they're going to make sure that it's the best thing before they throw it out there. So I have to remain faithful,
What you got, Sean?
hopeful.
Probably my first ever Lego video game purchase, Lego Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars.
Clone Wars.
I absolutely love the cartoon. I think it's
So this
fantastic.
is all based off the cartoon, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I love the style of the cartoon. I love the characters they have, and I could just see that in Lego verse, and I'm excited for it. I really dig what the Clone Wars has done for the Star Wars franchise, because the Star Wars franchise absolutely died until the Clone Wars came in, because they've bridged that gap for the young kids again. And I know a lot of kids that don't ever watch the regular Star Wars films, but watch the Clone Wars over and over, and I love that show. I love the show. And anytime I get to see any of the episodes, I get dig it. But looking forward to the Clone Wars. Young Obi-Wan Kenobi, you can't go wrong with that.
I saw that Star Wars coming out on Blu-ray
Yeah,
this year.
yeah,
I'm glad there's finally a format to buy the Star Wars movies on.
yeah.
What is that, like the 400th
Probably
version of the movies?
that I'll own. Hey,
You don't have a Blu-ray player?
Got laser discs.
yet.
Between now and then? That
Yeah,
has become
I don't
a
have the
priority?
laser disc. No, because if I still had a laser disc, like a laser disc player, man, those things were awesome.
What about all the Hardy's records?
The Hardee's? I don't have any of the Hardee's records.
My Hardy's records were Alf.
Gremlins. That's why I have the Gremlin
My
one.
last thing on my list is another XBLA game, Fez.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I really like is the idea that it's kind of got 3D space manipulation, kind of like ilomilo, but being presented through 2D at a
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And that sort of puzzling aspect at the same time, kind of looking like a platformer, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
That's been around for a long time now, too. So
Yeah.
I hope that it makes it out.
Me too.
I've been hearing
bouncing it
more
around.
and more
Good.
things more frequently, so I'm guessing.
I love the
yes,
design
will
of it
happen. Yeah.
a lot.
I think they were Paper Mario.
Yeah.
because I always liked that. That look was
Oh,
very
yeah, that's
cool.
good comparison.
My last one, Homefront,
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's coming soon.
and it was a
A lot
game.
of shooters, new shooters this year, and Homefront is probably the best looking one in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's a first-person shooter, which I'm really I'm not into.
Yeah.
I guess it has to have either zombies in it or crazy guns and mutants running around. But usually, first-person games and me don't really coincide. But I really like this like the way they've talked it up. They've really promoted it well, because that's what's really pulling me into it. But I really like the whole aspect of this isn't your Call of Duty. It's got the whole what I did not do from Red Faction, because essentially you're there. You may take out your thing, but you don't get like airlifted out. You don't get you're there, and you've got to live in it. And I think that's the thing of Red Faction I never did, was like being a part of it and not being having to hide and things like that. But this is more in a first person,
Right.
way of doing it. And the premise behind it, and like the rise of power of North and South Korea.
Yeah.
I really like that aspect too, and we'll see. That'll be the game. I think this will be my game this year that I don't play, that I talked about playing.
No, you should play.
It's only out like in a couple weeks, right?
I know, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I might absolutely hate it. Oh, and then there's also Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which I'll talk it up right now, but I probably will never play it.
Well, you know what? I can't play those games,
Yeah.
but it looks so good.
I know.
And there's so many characters that I want to play with.
I know.
Yeah,
They got that
I
little
still have
Kami dog
zero
in there.
achievements on
That stupid
Marvel
Street
vs.
Fighter
Capcom 2.
scared me. It's $20 now. I could buy Street Fighter 4 for $20.
Yeah.
But I can't buy it because I'm more annoyed with it than anything. I just need I need that 6-button controller. That's what I need.
Yeah.
Is
the
Marvel vs.
joystick.
Capcom 3 coming out as a full release?
Yeah.
That's what I thought,
Yep.
which is odd.
It's odd. I mean, it's going to sell,
Yeah.
but
Oh, of course.
it's odd that they're putting $60 on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That's a little weird.
maybe 50.
Maybe.
Yeah. Let me know how that goes.
Needs to be 60 with a 6-button controller.
Maybe 60 with a $80 limited edition version.
Probably.
There you
That's
go.
what it'll be. It comes with a sticker. Is that it for our 2011?
That's
That
it.
was it.
And we didn't ask for anybody at home's opinions, so sorry.
Well, they can get it.
I would love to hear from everybody at home
Yes,
what they're
definitely.
listening to, or what they're looking forward to. I don't want to know what they're listening
They're
to.
listening to us.
I don't know
right
what
now,
I'm speaking.
this moment.
Seriously, we've been talking for like 3 hours. So
like-
if you have anything you're looking forward to
Yes.
in 2011 that we didn't mention or want to chime in on what we did talk about, let us know. It's comments@signedinpodcast.com. Shoot us an email, and we'll take a look at it.
Yes.
We'll probably even respond to you.
Or
Maybe.
laugh at it.
Or we'll laugh, pass it
That's
around, and
probably more likely.
draw big penises on it and make fun of you. That's how we handle all our email.
Which is really funny when it's all words and stuff. So.
Exactly. Look what I did to his O's.
They're boobs.
So,
Sorry, spoiler.
Never boobs.
again, comments at signedinpodcast.com as our email address. You can check us out online at signedinpodcast.com. That is a link there to our Twitter feed, our Facebook fan page, our forums, all the other pseudo radio production shows, other podcasts that Craig and Sean and others do. And that's it, right?
Yeah.
That it for us?
Dear Lord, yes.
That was a lot.
I don't know what we'll talk about next week, but
Indie
it'll
to
be a
the
bunch
table.
of stuff.
That was a
You
nice
guys
break.
rocked out some indie
It was
at the
3
beginning.
weeks.
That was
Come
a
on,
nice
we
break,
had an extra
yeah.
week.
That's
in
true.
there.
We do have an extra week.
Plus, with no real disc games coming out in the intervening time, we were all catching up and trying out new things.
And see, when we miss a week, we just pack more content in. We don't leave you guys hanging.
That's true.
So I guess that makes up for it.
Wow, this is all edited together from stuff we cut out of old shows. all those old games we talk about. Yeah,
The last 6 episodes have been. We haven't seen each other since July.
How do we do
really
the
good
poll
at it.
list?
Yikes. All right. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. See you, everybody.
Thanks.
Later.
Bye.
Receiving this transmission. This has been a pseudo radio production. Repeat, this has been a pseudo radio production. Copyright 2011.